What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining us right here on Tuesday night. It is Tuesday Night Titans, episode 129 for your Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. I'm your host, JD from New York. As always, joined by the one and the only, the man who never loses his cool as general manager, the Solomon. So what's going on, brother?
Well, I'm not a general manager, so...
Well, a general manager, commissioner, whatever. Same.
I got a much better, more official title. So, yes, you have to keep your composure. You have to be fair and balanced. And I try to be very good at that. Unfortunately, there are some other people who have no hair on their head who tend to lose their cool and apparently have a drinking problem.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I've mentioned that before. He has a drinking problem.
Yes. I love that Adam Pearce has a love for ice-cold beverages when he needs one.
Well, but I mean, if it's affecting his job in a negative way, that's not a good thing.
Well, I mean, you got Braun Breaker, you got Logan Paul, you got Bronson Reed, you got Paul
True.
Heyman. I mean, any one of those men would drive you to drink, I would think, right?
I'm just saying, people have problems that get out of hand and they may lose their job and somebody else may have to step in. So, hey. Wouldn't it be something if the commissioner had to set things straight on Monday Night Raw? I
was just about to ask you, would you take that position?
For the right offer, I would have to seriously consider it.
All right, look at that.
Yeah,
you may be seeing the Solomonster as a general manager / commissioner on Monday Night Raw.
Could happen. Hey, stranger things have happened.
Stranger thing. I actually started watching. I didn't tell you in the sound check. I watched all of season 1 already, from episode 1 to the last episode of season 1.
Did you really?
Yes, I think I watched between Sunday and Thursday of the previous week. I watched all the episodes in season 1.
Well, season 1, I will say, season 1, in my opinion, is the best season.
It was a very good season.
Yeah, which is not to say that the other seasons are bad, but just kind of ranking them and looking at them side by side. I think season 1 is still the best.
It progressively gets worse from here on out, is what you're telling me.
No, I didn't say progressively gets worse. I just think it's at its strongest in that first season because there's this just element of mystery and dread. And, you don't really get a full explanation of the events that are going on. And I just tend to think things are scarier and more unnerving when they're not just fully explained.
All right. Listen, whatever I have dove into, I very much enjoyed. I never watched it, and I was very convinced after the Stranger Things Monday Night Raw debacle. Well, let me watch this show. Everybody's talking about it, and I usually stay away from things that are very uber popular in the mainstream media. So I dove in, and I very much enjoyed it. It wasn't scary. I didn't think it would be scary, but I did. My favorite character on season 1, I would have to say, is Hopper. Chief Hopper.
Yeah.
He was the best.
He goes through a very interesting arc as the seasons go on. But it's funny you made that comment about how it's not scary. That's the thing about the beginning of the show as compared to how it became in like the last couple of seasons where it really kind of dove into horror.
Oh, okay. Well, that's something for me to look forward to then. I don't mind a little bit of horror.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't either. But there's definitely like a difference in tone as far as what it was at the beginning and what it was at the end. I kind of compare it to like the Fast and the Furious. If you think about how that series started, it was a movie about cars. And then by the end, dude, aren't they doing like missions for the government or something? Yes. And yeah, it's like it got way like above what it was originally intended to be, just because they kept making money. So they kept making movies.
Did you see they're coming out with a new Scream too? Scream 7.
Scream 7, yeah. I think actually it comes out, I believe, the end of next month.
February 27th, yeah.
Yeah, and Neve Campbell is back in it, and I'll probably be seeing it.
That doesn't look bad.
I think I saw the last one. I believe I did. I saw the last 2, so I'll probably be seeing this one.
All right, there you go, chat. Stranger Things, Scream. That's how we're starting the show off. But I will definitely dive into season 2. I think I'll start season 2 Thursday. Actually, I can't do Thursday because Impact is on Thursday. Probably Saturday. So I'll let you guys know what I think next week, man. But very much enjoying Stranger Things. And you guys are enjoying this show, man. Again, I want to thank you guys as always. And I don't thank you guys enough. Last week, we did 40,000 views on a down week. You guys are great. So you're loving what we're doing here on Tuesday night. 50-minute watch time after Tuesday's show last week. So thank you guys for all the support. Jason and I really appreciate it. We got a lot lined up for you tonight. What we're going to dive into tonight is the WrestleMania plans, apparently, that have now been set ablaze because Drew McIntyre won the WWE Championship from Cody Rhodes on Friday Night SmackDown in what I thought was a great main event. 3 stages of hell, and we got a little bit of a dramatic finish here with Jacob Fatu. Now, the whole storyline around who attacked Jacob Fatu is hopefully something I think WWE, or at least I hope WWE, kind of cycles back to. But we'll definitely talk about that, where Drew McIntyre sits in the WrestleMania plans. Will he even be the champion going into WrestleMania? None of this is known to anybody, but it's going to make for a very unpredictable and very topical discussion going into Mania season. So we'll definitely talk about that. Braun Breaker and Adam Pearce. We'll talk about what I thought was the best segment on the show last night, Gunther and AJ Styles. We'll talk about that. And they did exactly what they needed to there. Will it work? We'll discuss that. We got some AEW news. We got some WWE free agent news potentially.
Do we? It was kind of quiet on the AEW front
well,
this week.
I mean, who's moving over from AEW to WWE? We'll talk about Maximum Carnage. MJF is defending that AEW championship against Bandito this week. And we got some things here and there. So we got a show for you. Strap in, grab a cold beverage. It should be a good one as always here on episode 129. Follow us on social media. At JD from NY206, that's Solid Monster. You guys can find us on social media and Instagram. Go hit that subscribe button down below to this channel. Go subscribe to Jason as well. He's nearing, or I don't know if you're there yet, but 90,000 subs over there potentially yet?
Yeah, probably a little over 50 away now.
There you go. So go and do that. Help me get to 90,000. And if you guys want to support us, a couple of ways to do that. Thumbs up. Strive for a modest goal of 800 likes tonight. Leave a comment down below, and super chats. They will be open, and we'll read them at the end of the show. Any questions, comments, concerns, comedic bits, you guys can get them on in at the end of the show, and we'll hang out with you when the show concludes. All right, my friend, where do you want to go? What do you want to talk about?
Well, let's start with a quick update here for NXT, because I know they have already made the announcement about what they are going to do with the NXT Championship situation. So on last week's show, Oba Femi, he beat Leon Slater. And then he left the title in the ring. So Ava came out at the beginning of the show tonight, among other people. Apparently, there were a bunch of roster members, I guess, surrounding the ring and Evolve talents who are now going to take the place of many of the NXT talents that are being called up. And so she made the announcement that on February 3rd, they are going to have a 6-man ladder match to decide who the new NXT champion is going to be. And they will have qualifying matches beginning next week. And then there was a whole big brawl with everybody at ringside, and apparently Keanu Carver just murdered a whole bunch of people and was left standing tall. So it looks like he may be slotted in there pretty high up on the NXT roster after his Evolve run. So that's the way things are shaping up.
Okay, all right. Well, I know they moved a couple of them guys over there. I forgot their name. The Vanity or the Varsity, whatever.
Vanity Group.
The Vanity Group. Yeah, the pretty boys.
Yeah, the Vanity, the pretty ones. Okay. Handsome is the word you're looking for.
Yes, the pretty boys. Yeah, whatever.
The pretty boys. Okay, fine. So somebody in the chat said tournament. It's not a tournament. They chose not to do a tournament, so they're doing it. They're doing it this way. So that way they just have 6 guys, 1 big ladder match. I thought maybe they would do a tournament, then have tournament matches on TV, but they've chosen to go this way. So that'll be the first NXT, I guess, coming out of Royal Rumble weekend.
You know, it's crazy to see NXT go through this almost, I would say it happens once every couple of years, Jason, where, you know, they get a mass defection of call-ups to the main roster, and then they're basically left with nobody, and then they have to go and basically start all over. Like it's like playing a video game and wiping all of the stuff that you worked so hard on, and then you go right back to stage 1.
Well, I mean, it's like college, and, you know, you have the graduating class, and then you have the next class of freshmen that move in. So yeah. I'm sure Shawn Michaels is like, fuck, you know, because he doesn't want to lose all these people all at once. But that's the nature of developmental. There are a lot of people down in NXT who don't need to be down there anymore.
No.
And I don't know why they waited until, you know, all at once to call all these people up when they could have been doing this. They could have staggered these call-ups over a period of months. And it just seems to be happening all at the same time. So they did that to themselves, but that's what developmental is, you know. You call up one group of recruits and then you build up the next class. So this is going to be a chance for the Evolve talents or LFG to step up. And I don't know, Keanu Carver, what I've seen of him, he's impressive, and I could see them giving him the big push.
Well, they're going to need to put the rocket to somebody down there. I don't know who that's going to be. It may be him. It may be, what's the one from Dark State? I know they're high on him, too. Dion Lennox or one of them. One of them.
Yeah, I don't know. On the women's side, I mean, that should be Kendall Gray.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like they don't have the talent down there. It's just like you said, it's like pushing the reset button, and now all of a sudden they've been rated, and you've got to start all over again. So that's just the way it goes when it comes to NXT.
Yeah, some of that stuff is fun to watch. I know when we watch Black and Gold, to see a lot of the influx of talent from the PC then make it to Full Sail. That was one of the best times to watch them just kind of grow and mature. And then after 6 months to a year, they eventually land on a takeover, and then you were there watching them grow up, basically. So I don't know if it's like that for you guys, if you feel the same way towards this NXT as you did the old NXT. But I find great enjoyment in watching some of that top-tier talent, some of that talent that has a promising future just kind of grow up right before your very eyes. So we'll keep an eye on that. We do have news on Oba Femi on what brand he's going to land on. And I guess being that we're talking about NXT, we'll just kind of bleed into that because there is some NXT news, and he was at the forefront of it this week. And this is coming from WrestleVotes. They now have a clear indication on where Oba Femi is going. And like Jason said, Oba left the title in the ring last week. They mentioned it on Monday Night Raw, and they mentioned it on Friday Night SmackDown. We still continue to see the vignettes, and he's going to be a big deal on the main roster. Whether he has a role in WrestleMania, that remains to be seen. I hope so, if he's being called up now. Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to, even if they don't, have him show up until the Rumble.
Yeah.
If he's going to show up now, there's no reason for him not to be on that WrestleMania card in some, I'm not saying it has to be a title match, but like a prominent match on that card.
Yeah, so we talked about WrestleVotes and the report. Apparently, the report was that he will end up on Monday Night Raw. And I know Jason mentioned that he would probably fit best on Raw, being that we got a couple of people on the SmackDown side. We got Javon Evans on Raw, and it basically stopped with him. So now we have Oba Femi potentially landing on Monday Night Raw. Do you like this move, Jason, now looking back at it? I know you mentioned it last week, and now the news was coming out of WrestleVotes on Fightful Select this week. Do you still like that move? Do you like him landing on Raw instead of SmackDown?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with it. I actually thought SmackDown could probably use him more, but they're going to have a whole bunch of people coming up, it sounds like, maybe mostly women, but you're going to have to divide and conquer. So it doesn't really matter much to me because wherever he goes, he's going to strengthen that roster. I just looked at the kind of the state of things on SmackDown and having the extra hour, and I thought, okay, maybe they could use him more. But he enhances the Raw roster. I mean, there's no two ways about it. And if you're going to have him and Gunther on the same roster, I would certainly keep them apart for a while, because I don't think that's a match you jump right into. I could see someone like Oba being the first person to hand Gunther a defeat, since beating John Cena. But that's, again, like far down the line. So wherever he lands, I mean, automatically he becomes a player on that roster. It doesn't matter if it's Monday or Friday. You can't treat him, I don't think. You can't handle him the way that you would handle just any other call-up. You have to establish very early on, like they do on occasion with special people who get called up, like Brock Lesnar, right, all those years ago. From day one, you knew that he was special. And with him, within a few months, he was the world champion. So I don't know if his progression will be that quick, but I think you definitely want to establish from day one, this guy's a player. This is someone that, it may take a little while for him to climb the ladder, but you know what? I don't think it's going to take all that long for him to be competing for the World Heavyweight Championship. So I think it's a great move. He doesn't really have anything left to prove in NXT. What's left for him to do down there?
There's nothing for him to do down there. I think this is the right. I know a lot of people, and we talked about it a little bit last week when we actually were live when he vacated the championship. I was thinking about it after the fact. I even made a standalone video on it last week. I actually like the move that he vacated the championship. He's a major signing, quote unquote, for either of the major two brands. And a lot of people were like, well, he should have put someone over in the territory and just dropped the title and put someone over. I'm like, he already did that with Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks was lucky enough out of everybody down there in the 3 years that he's been developing down there to hand him a loss and beat him for the championship. Like, who else does he need to lose to? Like, you don't need to bring him up to the main roster and diminish what you built with him. How many losses does he have total? 2, maybe? I don't even know who he lost to outside Ricky Starks.
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I mean, you could probably count on one hand and still have fingers left over.
Probably.
So.
I don't know why you would want to beat someone like that. So I thought that they made the right decision. Now, with him going to the main roster, is it, in your opinion, something where you have to treat him as a full-time talent, but not wrestling every week because you want to keep that appeal special? How do you handle someone like that on the main roster without burning him out in the audience to the audience?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think it has to be a set thing where it's like once a month, he appears, or that he's there every single week. I think, however, I don't know how they're going to debut him. I don't know that he's going to have a traditional debut where he just shows up and, starts killing lower card guys, or if he's going to interject himself in a major angle, with some top talent. So I don't know what they're going to do, but I do think that you want to make sure you don't, burn him out by having him do meaningless things on the show. So if you don't have a really good idea for him in one particular week, it's okay to leave him off the show and have him show up the following week. So I think you just want to give great care to what you have him doing and not just feel like, we have to have him on the show every week. If you have something good for him to do, great. But otherwise, I would think that, again, they're going to want to map out for the next few months what their plans are for him. Not just go week to week, and which is probably what they do for a lot of different people on that show. But really map out his direction for WrestleMania. We want him on the WrestleMania card. We want to have him in a feature match. Okay, against who? How do we get there? Like, think about what the match is going to be and then kind of book backwards. Like, how do we get from here to there? And that's really how I would approach it. What that looks like, is it promos? Because he can cut promos.
He's very good, yeah.
He can cut promos. He can come out and talk. But again, there's only so much talking he can do. So does he have to be on the show every week? No. But they're going to want him to be a feature player on the show, which means you got to be there. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he should be booked like a part-timer, because we need less part-timers and more full-timers. So that's kind of how I would approach the situation with him.
Who do you see him wrestling at WrestleMania? Do you see? I know you mentioned keeping him away from Gunther, which I absolutely agree. But
Yeah.
I think I have it in the back of my mind. You debut him in the Royal Rumble, and he comes face to face. I think we kind of go back and take a page out of the playbook where WWE had that Brock Lesnar in the Rumble, kind of owning the Rumble for the first 20, 25 minutes, and then out comes Keith Lee. And they have that big stare down. And I look back at that. I'm like, man, what a missed opportunity that was. I think you kind of do the same thing with Oba Femi here. Lesnar kind of owns the ring for a good 5-10 minutes. And then out comes Oba Femi. And then Oba eliminates Brock Lesnar. And you do one of those deals where Lesnar kind of throws a fucking fit on the outside. And they build towards a WrestleMania match between both of them. Do you see Lesnar and Oba Femi potentially being the match at Mania?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, there's two ideas that I was contemplating. One of them is Lesnar, because I don't really see Gunther and Lesnar as the match at WrestleMania. I just feel like they could extend the AJ stuff to Mania if they want to. So then I was like, well, then what do they do with Brock? Like, what opponent makes sense for Brock? And I was thinking Oba. Of course, provided Oba wins that match.
Yes.
I would not do that match with any finish other than Lesnar putting over Oba Femi. But there is another idea. If you really want to go all the way with this guy, there is another idea. Which is, if you're going to debut him in the Royal Rumble, you have him win the Royal Rumble. Because what bigger statement could there to be made? Look, he could eliminate Brock, and that's a major statement to make. But if you really want to make a statement, why not have him win the Rumble? And then tease out which champion he's going to challenge. We have a new WWE champion right now. We have somebody who has had a little interaction before with Oba Femi. Now, that's like a push on steroids, because in that scenario, you're looking at really launching him into a title match at WrestleMania after he got called up 2 or 3 months earlier. So I'm not sure they're ready to do that. But I'm just saying, there's been a lot of people this week talking about shaking things up. Ooh, they shook things up on Friday. You really want to shake things up. You want to talk about a crazy fucking idea. There it is. And imagine he wins the Rumble and chooses, let's say, Drew McIntyre. And they really do blow up all their WrestleMania plans. We don't even see Cody in a title match at WrestleMania, but they do Drew and Oba in Las Vegas. What do you think about that?
I have no problem with that.
I wouldn't either.
I think people will end up complaining like they usually do, but this is exactly what the brand needs. It needs unpredictability. It needs to go for the future. Like how many guys do you have come along that look like him? You don't have that opportunity that often. If you got it, you got to take it by the balls and just run with it. Now, I would love that idea.
I would love it too. But again, we're talking about the reports of him going to Raw. So if he was going to do that, Drew McIntyre is the champion on SmackDown. So I think the likelihood of that is probably pretty slim if the idea is to have him on Monday Night Raw. But we're just spitballing here potential ideas for him. I wouldn't mind that either. Because we've had the chance to watch him in NXT. He's very impressive. He checks all the boxes. And I think that, if you are really looking to make a new star, sure, you can have him wrestle Brock Lesnar and beat Brock for whatever that's worth in 2026. You could do that. But I still say the biggest way that you can really impress upon people how important someone is, kind of in the pecking order there, is by having them win matches, but also win championships. And so he never lost the NXT championship. He gave it up. And just imagine, he shows up and on day one in the Rumble, he dominates. And immediately he's challenging for gold. But that would then move him to SmackDown. I'm not sure they want to do that.
Yeah, that's where it gets a little dicey. But again,
so the Brock idea to me seems like a much more likely scenario.
Yeah, this is Triple H, who I would assume, I don't want to say for sure, but it probably took a lot within him to take the belt off Cody Rhodes, because he just doesn't like change. He likes change when he likes change. But whatever compelled him to take the belt off Cody Rhodes on Friday, I very much appreciate it, as does Jason. It was the right idea. But we'll get into that in just a second. There is other NXT news. We got Lola Vice in the rumor mill getting called up to the main roster. And we talked about last week Jayne. Now, she beat Kendall Gray, so it's not going to happen anytime soon. It would probably happen, if it does, after Stand and Deliver with Jayne. They'll probably end up running that match back and give Kendall Gray a little bit more time to marinate. The other name was Blake Monroe. Now, I was told personally that Blake Monroe is not getting called up, and Blake Monroe is very much staying down in NXT, which I think is the right move, because I do think, even though she is a main roster ready talent, I do think that with everything that's happened down there with her in the North American Championship, which seemed to be a fucking debacle, it gives her an opportunity to gain trust with the audience and creative, honestly, to just kind of navigate through that stupid situation. And then obviously maybe kind of add some layers to her character work down there. And I think having a run with the NXT Women's Championship would do her a lot, actually, with a roster that's probably going to be a lot more inexperienced than her. She leading that division would probably be a benefit to her and the NXT Women's roster. So Blake Monroe's not getting called up right now. Jayne is in line, and Lola Vice is in line. Those are the two ladies there for a call-up. Lola will probably end up on SmackDown, and I could see Jayne end up on SmackDown as well. Yeah,
Lola, I think the belief is that she would probably end up on SmackDown. She's been splitting her time between AAA and NXT now for months. She's been doing matches down in Mexico. But let me ask you a question. Maybe you can shed some more light on this person. Who tell me what I'm missing here about this this new person, Elio LaFleur?
LaFleur, yeah.
He's new, right, to NXT?
He's new to NXT, yes.
Now, is he from Evolve? Like, where did this person come from?
Did we talk about this guy? He wrestled for us at House of Glory, man. That's the guy. I forgot his previous name, but that's the guy. You know who he is.
Right, but the name is throwing me off. I'm not, without seeing the face, I hear Elio LaFleur, and I'm like, who is
Elio's Pizza? Who is he? I don't know.
Well, okay, so I gotta find out what this guy looks like now.
Chat, what was his previous name? I know Jason and he was in House of Glory. I forgot his fucking name. Elio.
Well, then I probably booked him, so I should know who it is.
Yes, you should know. Elio LaFleur, WWE. Let me see.
Let's see.
Igel Blanc was his name.
Okay.
I think he was in one of the Suicidal Six Ways. I don't know when, a couple of years ago, easy.
I'm just trying to find a good picture of his face and what he looks like. I see a fucking mask on this guy.
Yes, he's apparently the newest luchador. Elio LaFleur is his name, chat. Yes.
Was he wearing a mask when we had him?
No.
Yeah, okay, so that's what's throwing me off.
Yes,
here.
they put a mask on him.
Why?
I don't know.
Is he like seriously disfigured from an accident or something? Why would they suddenly put a mask on this guy?
Oh no, he's not disfigured. He may be used sparingly in AAA. I don't know.
All right, let me just see. Aigle, you said Aigle. Aigle what?
Aigle Blanc. AIGLE Blanc.
Okay, so let's see. That should give me his face.
Jada Parker's back finally. Who knows where she was?
He's still mad. Oh, here we go. All right. See, I wanted some clarity here because I see people, mentioning Ilio Lafleur.
Yes.
And
he's been having vignettes on NXT.
I didn't know anything about him. He's a very mysterious person to me. Okay, it's good to know.
I got to see what this guy wrestles for us all. I go Blanc. Match career. Let's see. I'm on Cage Match. I'm on TK's
what was the House
website.
of Glory match he was in? I need to.
I'm telling you right now. Hold on.
I'm sure we did commentary.
Oh no,
for
you know what it was? It was in Philadelphia with the Revolver Show. It was the PWR Remix title match.
I see. Okay,
Yes.
so not exactly the House of Glory guy. I got it.
Was that his only match? Yes, that was his only match there. Yeah.
See, I didn't forget my own talent. Who said that? I knew I wasn't crazy.
Yes, Ilio Lafleur is coming to NXT. We'll be keeping an eye on him.
What a commissioner! I think I just lost the Raw gig if Adam Pearce gets sidelined.
Oh man,
I don't even know my own talent.
So yeah, that's the NXT deal there. Lola, Jacy, Blake Monroe. Those were the names that are due for a call up, and like I said, Blake Monroe staying down there. The others may get called up around WrestleMania time, probably after WrestleMania. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's shift gears to SmackDown because SmackDown was a very newsworthy show. And we're back to 3 hours. As you guys know, this is the second week at 3 hours. Last week was a lot better than this week, but this week was a lot more newsworthy as we have the WWE Championship match. 3 stages of hell between Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes. Before we get to that, let's lead into that. We had the ladies in action, which we'll talk about not last night. There was challengers now for Rhea and Io, but there was a big 8-woman tag team match on Friday Night SmackDown. Apparently the tag team narrative in the women's division is hot and heavy, so we'll talk about that when we get to the Raw discussion. We had Kit Wilson. He wasn't on the show last week, but apparently he is looking for something else to do, Jason. Apparently everybody's still talking about Kit Wilson, and we have news on Kit Wilson's partner, Elton Prince. Apparently he is now out. It is confirmed that he had neck fusion surgery. And if everyone wants to know why Kit Wilson is out on his own, that's why. So Pretty Deadly is no more, at least for the time being. And Kit Wilson's going to be flying solo with his quest for toxic masculinity to cease and desist.
Yeah, I mean, it's two level fusion, I guess, is what he had on his neck. He's only 28 years old. So hopefully, I don't know how long of a recovery that is, if it's a year, if it's less than a year, I don't know. But obviously for Kit Wilson, you've got to find something else for him to do. He's not going to just sit on the sidelines for a year. So I don't know how serious a push he's going to get, but I guess if he's getting consistent television time, it's better than just sitting in catering in the back.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you could always use somebody to just throw out there and feed to the bigger guys and get some nice top-tier enhancement matches out of. So at least he's on TV.
50-50 with Matt Cardona.
Yes,
right?
Still, yeah.
So there you go. I don't think he's going to be going 50-50 with some of the bigger names on the brand.
No.
But you know what, though? With this music and everything, I could see this over time becoming something that the fans kind of gravitate to, and it kind of gets over on its own and turns in babyface.
Probably.
I could see something like that happening.
Yeah, for sure.
Doesn't mean they're going to push him any more than they are now, but I could see the fans sort of latching onto it in one of those ways where it kind of goes viral, and maybe he gets a little push out of it. Oh, I don't know. We'll see. We'll
see what happens. But Kit Wilson is he's one of those guys that's gaining a little bit of popularity. Randy Orton, he started things off with Trick Williams. And what'd you make of Trick Willie out here confronting Randy Orton? We'll talk about how these guys are going to kind of come into a match together that is now the layout for the World Championship match at the Royal Rumble. We'll talk about how Nick Aldis set that up. But Trick Williams Last week, he confronted Sami Zayn. This week, he's confronting Randy Orton. After 2 weeks, are they doing the right thing by Trick Williams and having him in there with top-tier talent such as Zayn and Orton here?
Yeah, I mean, pay attention to WWE when they do things like this, because you can tell, whether or not they really see something in a talent based on who they have them associating with on TV. So for him to come out and interrupt Sami Zayn in week 1 was a sign. For him to come out and work with Randy Orton in week 2, that was also a sign.
Yeah.
And you could see the fear, by the way, in his face when he smacked the microphone out of Orton's hand.
It definitely landed in the second rower.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Even Orton was like, watch out. And Trick had a look on his face like, oh, God.
Yeah.
What have I done?
Am I going to get fired here?
Yeah. Is this the end? But yeah, and also, again, he didn't drop him with an RKO.
No.
Gave him a draping DDT, but he didn't drop him with an RKO. So that was also a good sign.
Trick Williams went on to beat Rey Fenix, so he got his first win on the main roster. Poor Rey Fenix, as they have him floating around on Friday night, and Penta, his brother, is teaming with everybody but his real brother.
Yeah, everybody but Rey Fenix.
It's crazy. So Trick Williams, we'll talk about him in a little bit, as we will Randy Orton. We got Julia wrestling actual talent here. This is the biggest match that she's ever had on Friday night, rather. Alexa Bliss. So Julia defends against Alexa Bliss, and she retains the Women's United States Championship. So more of the same there. Nothing really newsworthy about Julia, but hopefully they are setting her up for something a little bit more important, being that they're putting her in the ring with Alexa and Jordynne Grace on this show. We'll lump this into this here. Jordynne Grace made her in-ring debut on Friday night. She beat Alba Fire in about 3 or 4 minutes, and it's great to see Jordynne Grace. But it looks like, Jason, that they may potentially be setting up a future program between Jordynne Grace and Jade Cargill, because they have them interacting last week, and then on top of that, the week prior. So what do you make of that?
I'm kind of torn, just because it seems way too early to be jumping right into that, because I don't see them taking the title off of Jade. So if that's the case, I would keep them apart as far as an actual match goes. But it's a good sign that they have, the champion coming out. It's not like she went after Jade. Jade came out after her match and approached her.
Yes.
So again, it's just one of those things where I think they're trying to establish that this is someone to pay attention to. This is someone who's going to be a player in that division. So that's good. It's not a match I would be doing right now, though. So they're teasing it 2 weeks in a row. Same thing they did with Gunther and AJ Styles, and then they gave it to us on TV a couple weeks later. So I just don't think that's a match. I don't see the upside to doing that match now. So I don't know if this is something they plan on going to very soon because they're just desperate for challengers for Jade, or they're just doing it to, again, kind of let people know, hey, this woman is someone you should be paying attention to.
Any more confidence in week 2 that they are going to do right by Julia here on Friday nights?
No. I mean, they have to demonstrate a sustained push for this woman. And look, she was in there with Alexa Bliss, who's very popular. And again, she got practically no reaction from the crowd.
From an international crowd.
Yeah. So look, Rome wasn't built in a day. And so if they're going to start to seriously give her a push now, we're not going to know in week 1 or week 2. But I mean, as a fan who, I like Julia, and I thought she was doing well in NXT. And even though she's now a 2-time United States champion, it's not as if she's been given a whole lot to work with. So it's kind of like, I'll believe it when I see it with my own 2 eyes. It's too early to say.
That's where Jordynne slots in very well. Just have her go after that title first and maybe build a program there. I think they work together in NXT, so let's go revisit that. I think that'd be good on Friday nights.
Yeah.
Matt Cardona wants the WWE Championship. That was before Cody lost it, but he's back to win the big one. I don't know how long it's going to take him to get there, or if he gets there at all. But
he's not.
It's great to have dreams,
It's great to have goals. He's very goal oriented, and everybody on the show should strive to be the world champion. But as far as it actually happening, that's a whole other ball of wax. But it's good to have goals.
It is. The MFTs, they wrestled the Wyatt Six, and they beat the Wyatt Six in a big 8-man tag, and then Solo Sikoa stole the lantern, Jason. Stole Uncle Howdy's lantern. How are they going to see in the nighttime, bro? I mean,
I don't know.
Uncle Howdy, how's he going to sleep without?
Bumping into shit. They're going to be bumping into walls and shit. I don't know.
I think Uncle Howdy doesn't sleep well without the lantern. I don't know.
Like a nightlight?
Yeah.
I don't know. He doesn't strike me as someone who would be afraid of the dark.
I'm afraid of this fucking feud, I'll tell you that.
I'm terrified.
I don't know how much longer this is going to go on, but mercifully, hopefully this ends soon, and the MFTs win the tag team championships. What happens at that point remains to be seen, but, I mean, if you want absolutely just bottom of the barrel, no investment from company to viewer, just watch this feud. I don't even know what the fuck's going on. What are they feuding over? Apparently someone told me it's a family dynamic. It's a feud over what family? Like, who gives a shit about any of these people?
Well, I mean, the Wyatts have the tag team titles, so I guess the MFTs are coming after the tag titles, and they're going to be coming after the U.S. title because Tama Tonga is still eyeing that belt.
Fantastic. Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't win it because it's not the right time for Mello to be losing it, who was on the show on Friday, and he wrestled Shinsuke Nakamura in a U.S. Open challenge. It was an okay match. It was probably the best match that Nakamura has put on in the last several months, but I mean, I just can't bring myself to care about Shinsuke Nakamura in 2026, you know?
Look, it's the usual pattern with Nakamura where he'll disappear from television for months. They'll dust him off. They'll bring him back so that he can work with the champion or someone who's on the upswing and give him a solid match and probably lose, and then he'll disappear again. Like, how many times have we gone through this?
We go through this at least twice a year.
It's very predictable. You could set your watch to it.
Listen, Mello did what he could. Mello's great, and he won as usual. And the United States Open Challenge will continue. Who it continues against remains to be seen. But like Jason said last week, and I agree 100%, the heel, whoever beats him, should end the U.S. Open Challenge, and Mello's going to continue it until we get to that point, which I'm still hoping at this case with Trick on the roster that Trick and Mello actually do meet at WrestleMania, and the United States Championship Challenge comes to an end there. So Mello is doing some great work. He has just turned it up unbelievably over the last month or so.
And the fans are reacting.
Yeah. He's gotten over by in-ring work, and he's showing a little bit more of that character and charisma, so good for him. He's going to be a big future player for sure on Friday night. Nick Aldis laid the groundwork for what will happen for the WWE Championship match at the Royal Rumble. We'll get into that after we talk about the main event, which was the 3 stages of hell match between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. This was the first time in SmackDown history that they've gotten a 3 stages of hell match. And what I looked at on Friday, what I viewed on Friday was a great TV main event and a great way to set the tone for Friday Night SmackDown going into 2026. Now, Fall 1, Stage 1 was a standard wrestling match. Stage 2 was a false count anywhere. And then the final stage, which it did go to the 3rd stage, was a steel cage match. Now, as far as the main event, Jason, I think we both predicted how this thing would go down. McIntyre won the 1st stage. Cody won the 2nd stage. And then the 3rd stage was the return of Jacob Fatu.
Well, before we get to, we have to talk about the 2nd stage, though. Did you see the balcony dive?
Yes,
that
I did.
Cody did.
Yes.
Where as he dove off, he didn't move a muscle. He was like frozen in time. And I said on my show, it looked like the closing scene of The Wrestler with Randy the Ram as he just jumps off the top rope and they fade to black.
He was scared shitless jumping off that balcony.
He wasn't taking any chances here. And that was kind of the high spot there of that fall. And then not surprisingly, yes, it did lead to fall number 3.
Yes, we had, I thought fall or stage number 2 was really good. McIntyre won with a Claymore kick in stage 1 because of a low blow. So he did use nefarious means to get the first fall there. Cody jumped off the balcony through a table and won stage 2. That was the highlight of that stage. And then the crossroads through the commentary table was a great spot. That's what won him stage 2. And then stage 3 was very, very good. This was better than a lot of steel cage matches that we've seen in recent memory, dating back to the last one we saw, which was Solo and Jacob Fatu at SummerSlam, which was fucking awful. So this was just nightmarish. That's how bad it was. I mean, they didn't even use the fucking cage. They set the cage up legitimately just for Jacob Fatu to jump off of it. That's all they used it for. Yeah. So this was very good. And out of all the matches that we've seen between these two, this was easily, in totality, the best thing that they've done. But it was at the end, Jason, where we had Jacob Fatu show up, And Rhodes, he thought about climbing up to the cage as McIntyre eventually made it and stopped Rhodes from ascending the cage. And then both men, they were on top of the rope. And then eventually both men at the same time fell groin first on the top rope. McIntyre then rolled towards the door and tried to crawl his way through it. This was the old school rules. It was pin, submission, or eventually, if you made it that far, over the top rope, both feet hitting the floor or escaping through the door. So that's what the old school steel cage match stipulation was that McIntyre laid out. So he rolled towards the door, and he was stopped by this hooded man. Now, I think everybody watching the show on Friday afternoon knew who this was, and he eventually revealed himself to be Jacob Fatu. McIntyre looked like he stared into the ghost of Christmas past. McIntyre staring at Jacob Fatu here as he unhooded, and he gets into the ring. So Rhodes tried to stop him. That was Cody's mistake right there, getting involved. He should have just let Jacob Fatu do what he had to do.
Babyface syndrome.
What are you doing, man? Get out of my mat, bro. He's helping you. Okay, just let him do what he's got to do, and just stay away from him. Okay. So Rhodes tried to stop him. That was his big mistake. He got slugged by Jacob Fatu there. So he's brawling with Jacob Fatu, and McIntyre at this point sees everything that's going on, and like the brilliant heel that he is, I'm getting out of here. He crawls out of the door. Both feet hit the floor. Bell rings, and he wins the WWE Championship. And then Rhodes is looking at Drew McIntyre. What happened? What happened? I lost my title. You're an idiot. That's what happened. You got into a situation that didn't involve you. And McIntyre was clutching the championship. He went to Scotland on a WWE house show with the title in tow. I think he slept with the title, and he photographed himself sleeping with the title in bed at the hotel room. So he's loving everything that's going on right now. And Drew McIntyre is the WWE champion. I'll start here, Jason, before we get into the news and the little mini tournament that they have laid out here going into Saturday night's main event. What did you think in the ending? Because I thought the ending was actually done very well. In a way, it's typical WWE, because I didn't think anybody expected them to beat Cody clean, and I think everybody kind of expected Fatu to come back and kind of interject himself into this deal. But I know there were some people that were like, Drew should have won clean, and he should have won defiantly. That was never going to happen. So I know some people didn't look at the ending and like it. I very much did. What do you think about it?
I mean, I thought it was done in a clever way. I actually think that it would have been less damaging to Cody if he would have been beaten clean than doing it the way they did it. So for him, he just looked terrible as far as going off and fighting Fatu. But it's the sort of thing where, McIntyre is the slimy, sneaky heel who's been screwed over so many times that if he has an opportunity to slip out the door and win the title like that, then that's what he's going to do. So it made sense, in that context, it made sense. And I was just happy that they did the right thing, because we've been talking for weeks about will they or won't they? And I was thinking they may not change either world title because we're very close to WrestleMania and they don't want to fuck up whatever their plans are. So they may play it safe. And in this case, they did the right thing. The right man won. And it was a big deal because we don't get to see title changes like that, right, on TV very often. They had what I thought was a very good match. And again, Drew McIntyre now is the champion after chasing for so many different times and failing. He could not fail again. By doing this match, there could only be one outcome. Dude, if he would have lost this match, that would have been it. Like, that's it. Him in the title picture and the title chase, like, that dies on Friday if he doesn't leave with that championship, because how many opportunities are you supposed to give this person?
Yeah.
So, I give them credit for doing the right thing, but it was almost like they had no choice in many ways, or else you would have really killed the character a lot. So I like the match. I like the finish. The other reason is it creates intrigue because Jacob Fatu went after Drew McIntyre. Did he go after Drew McIntyre because he knows that Drew McIntyre is the one who attacked him, or he thinks Drew McIntyre is the one who attacked him? He attacked Cody Rhodes. Did he attack Cody Rhodes just because Cody put his hands on him first, or does he know something about Cody that we don't? It creates questions. It creates, kind of intrigue now heading into the show this week, which is what you want to do. You want to keep coming back to find out the answers to these questions. And I'm not sure we're going to get those answers this week, but I thought the way they did it was smart. So I liked it.
Yeah, I agree on all points there. Plus, McIntyre is the WWE champion who is a heel, and a damn good heel. Cody's a very good babyface, but a babyface champion against all the other people that have now come forth and say they want a WWE Championship match. They're all baby faces. Randy Orton, Matt Cardona, Damian Priest, Sami Zayn. That's going to work better with Drew as a heel champion as opposed to Cody as a babyface champion. So I think they did the right thing in that line of thinking. But it also, the most important thing is it creates a lot of unpredictability and a lot of intrigue going into WrestleMania. Now, the main event was great, but Nick Aldis laid out the scenario here going into the Royal Rumble. Apparently, starting this Friday, there will be 4 singles matches. And the winners of each of these matches will then get put in a fatal 4-way, which will take place at Saturday night's main event. And the winner of that fatal 4-way will go to the Royal Rumble and challenge for the WWE Championship. So I like the fact that even though it's taking place in the next 2 weeks and it's going to be very quick and done and over with very quickly, I like the fact that they're actually giving an opportunity to those who want it and deserve it to go after the title and have to earn it. Unlike Monday night, where Finn Balor has done nothing for the last 2 years outside tag team wrestling, and then all of a sudden gets a WWE title match against CM Punk next week, all because it's Ireland.
No, well, because CM Punk opened his mouth a couple of months ago and said that Balor is one of those people he wanted to defend the title against. Sure. And it took 2 months for Balor, I guess, to realize this, but he's like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, put the fucking controller down and maybe you would have heard him.
You know, did you notice he was playing as himself against Cody in the game?
Yes, he did.
I think he lost.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
Have you played that game on expert difficulty?
I don't know, but I thought that segment was one of the most realistic segments in months on WWE television, where you had the guy playing video games, not paying attention to what the woman was saying, and she gets very upset and yells at him for playing video games. I said, man, that is as real as it gets.
Yes, it is. So this fatal 4-way, we'll see one of, or 4 of these men here. So we have Randy Orton versus The Miz. Gee, I wonder who's going to win that one. Matt Cardona versus Trick Williams. Damian Priest versus Solo Sikoa. And Sami Zayn versus Ilya Dragunov. That's the match I'm looking forward to most there, being that their last match was fucking great. Now, you look at this field of 8 here, Jason, and you look at the fatal 4-way taking place at Saturday night's main event. I will give you the floor first because I spoke about this extensively on my Friday night post show. I'm going with one guy out of all 8 of these guys, and it's very predictable who I'm going with. But I'm genuinely curious, and as is the chat, who do you see winning this fatal 4-way at Saturday night's main event to go get Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble?
Well, I think the 4 names that are going to be in the fatal 4-way, I think we're looking at Randy Orton.
Yes.
We're looking at Trick Williams because they're not beating him, against Matt Cardona.
No.
Honestly, of all the matches, if there's one that could go either way, I would say it's probably Damian Priest and Solo Sikoa, just in case they want to get a heel, another heel, and kind of make it even, 2 and 2. But he has the lantern, and I'm sure that may be his downfall here. So
yes, Uncle Howdy's going to reveal himself and try and steal the lantern back and cost Solo the match. I see that.
Yes. So it'll be Damian Priest moving on. And then we have Sami Zayn and Ilya Dragunov. And I know Dragunov got the better of him in their first encounter. Yes. I think Sami gets the win back here.
Yes.
And so that's the fatal 4-way that we're looking at. And it just so happens that fatal 4-way is going to be taking place in Montreal. And there is someone, as I gaze into my crystal ball, who I know for a fact is going to be very popular in Montreal. And he's going to be very popular in Riyadh. And that person is Sami Zayn. So I think Sami Zayn's going to win that fatal 4-way. And I think we're looking at Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre at the Rumble for the championship.
You mean all the engagement farmers on social media who are claiming Sami should win the Rumble and get the match with Drew at WrestleMania is not going to happen?
While that would be a great story, I don't see them looking at that as the WWE Championship match for Las Vegas at WrestleMania.
Well, it's not the story now. Let's put it that way.
Well, no, it's not the story now, but I do think that it makes sense for him to be the one to go to the Rumble.
Yes.
And get that title shot there. And,
I absolutely agree.
And he'll fail. And that's okay, because it'll just sort of add to his story. But again, I was looking just at the locations of where these shows are taking place, and I go, how can it be anybody else?
I mean, if it's not, there's a fucking problem.
And he's been very vocal in recent weeks about the fact that Drew is the one guy he has not been able to beat. So, I mean, there's history there. It's not like it's just a random match for the sake of doing it because, the people in Montreal are going to like him. There is a story there. So, and because I don't think it's happening at WrestleMania, I think it's happening at the Rumble.
I basically said the same thing outside of the Montreal connection. I wasn't thinking about Montreal and Saturday Night's main event. I was just thinking Saudi and how over he is there and the story between him and Drew. So yeah, everything you mapped out is exactly what I said on Friday night myself. That's the right match to do. And I also said in addition to that, I think the Rumble, now that Drew is the champion and Sammy's more than likely going to get the championship match at the Royal Rumble, the Rumble's now going to include another major name in Cody Rhodes. And Randy Orton's probably going to be in the Rumble, and Roman Reigns, and Braun Breaker, and Gunther, and Lesnar, and Oba Femi. I mean, the field is going to be fucking massive in the Royal Rumble. So a Rumble with at least 10 or so guys that believably could win it, I feel like is the making of a good Royal Rumble. So
it is. I would not assume that Gunther is going to be in the Rumble in case they decide to do the rematch with him and AJ at the Rumble. Now, the last couple of years, they've kept it to 4 matches, 2 of which we know will be the Rumbles, and we know there's going to be a WWE title match. So that leaves 1 slot open. Do they do a women's match? Because if not, I could see them doing Gunther and AJ, maybe specifically to keep Gunther out of the Rumble, because it's almost like, do they want him in the Rumble if he's not going to win?
Well, how else? I mean, I don't really see Gunther beating, or AJ rather beating Gunther at any point in this feud. So maybe they have them in the Rumble and AJ eliminates Gunther from the Rumble.
Could happen.
Innocent enough.
It could happen, but because I see that as a multi-match series, so I assume. And we'll get into what happened on Raw, but I assume we're going to get that rematch fairly soon. Like, they're not going to wait, 2 months to give us the second match between them. So I was just thinking, you got Saturday night's main event coming up. You've got the Rumble coming up. Maybe they choose to do the match there, keep him out of the Rumble. But honestly, like, however many matches they end up having, I don't think AJ's winning any of them.
No.
So at least if they're in the Rumble, he could kind of get a symbolic win by eliminating Gunther. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, there are ways to do it. They could end up in the Rumble. They could end up in the Elimination Chamber, and something fucking could go awry in the chamber. A whole slew of things could happen. But I think we'll talk about it in a little bit. I do think the final match between them will take place at WrestleMania. I think that's what they're building towards here. But as far as Drew McIntyre and him winning the WWE Championship, apparently, according to the Wrestling Observer, now that McIntyre is the WWE Champion, that means now all plans for Rhodes and Reigns at WrestleMania have been scrapped. So this is coming from Dave. Well, for now, we don't know that for sure. But Meltzer said there's a massive shift in creative direction that has reportedly now occurred going into WrestleMania, with the trilogy between Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns potentially being scrapped. Meltzer reported on The Observer that internal plans for Mania 42 changed dramatically on Wednesday, January 7th. He even gives an appropriate date there. It changed on January 7th, coinciding with the decision to have Drew McIntyre defeat Cody Rhodes for the title. According to the report, McIntyre on the January 9th episode of SmackDown in Berlin reset the main event picture. He says, and I quote, "The whole WrestleMania plans changed on Wednesday of last week when they made the decision to go with Drew for the title win. That wasn't decided until Wednesday. The Cody Rhodes thing is probably not happening." Keyword probably. He goes on to say, and I quote, "The situation here is not 100% confirmed. New discussions have floated the possibility of a triple threat match for the championship featuring a cast of characters, depending on who that is, by the time we get to Mania. I don't know what the new matches are, although they may be doing a 3-way with McIntyre, Fatu, and Rhodes. That may not necessarily be at Mania, but I was told that's kind of like a possibility. Jacob Fatu played a critical role, obviously, as we talked about, and that's what Meltzer's going with. Apparently, the plans are scrapped. So he's using, Jason, words like, I don't know, possibility, and not necessarily. So what is it? Is it a report, or is he watching the shows like we are and then spawning it off as fucking news? What's going on?
Well, no, look, if we can tell with our own eyes, it looks like some plans were blown up heading into WrestleMania, and so when you're in the middle of changing creative, nothing is locked in. I can believe that nothing is locked in for Wrestle. We've had WrestleManias before where it's pretty clear nothing is locked in, even in January.
But this is the same guy that reported several weeks ago that it's Reigns Rhodes 3.
Yes, but this is also the guy, and we talked about it here on TNT, who got it right toward the end of last year with like 2 or 3 different things heading into Survivor Series. So I wouldn't just outright dismiss it. I mean, I saw what you wrote earlier, and it's like, well, it's not as if he was terribly wrong about a lot of stuff that ended up being right at the end of last year. So I don't think he pulled it out of his ass. Could it change? Sure. Do I think there's smoke to the fire with what he says? Like, as of this moment, what he's saying is accurate. I can believe that. Sure. Again, he got it right with some of the names that were being called up and involved in war games and some of the other stuff that happened. So I wouldn't outright dismiss it by saying, oh, he has no sources. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Look, I love it. I think it's great. And the fact that you and I can't sit here for sure and say, even as we sit here now looking ahead to April, like what these WrestleMania main events are going to be, that's the way it should be. It's okay for things to not be fully, kind of formed, or if they have an idea and they're keeping it hush hush and we really can't tell what direction they're going to go in, especially for what we do here, it makes it more fun, to follow along, not knowing who's going to win the Rumble, not knowing how things are going to play out in the Elimination Chamber, or what title is going to be defended possibly in the Elimination Chamber this year. It creates this sense of unpredictability that, frankly, is something WWE really needs, because there's a lot of predictable shit on WWE television, and that makes it less fun. So I like it.
I love it. I love the unpredictable. This is exactly what they need. I don't want to know anything, and I would very much like to be surprised. I know you called it last year with Jey Uso winning the Rumble. Nobody really gave any credibility to that. It's like, that's a joke pick. Why would you go with that? But you're a level-headed guy, and you're like, well, look out for him. He's a dark horse. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up winning. And then what happened? He ended up winning the fucking Rumble.
I mean, you just take a look at the push he was getting. It seemed pretty.
That's a surprise. That's unpredictable.
Sure. Now that was unpredictable in a way that maybe some people would look at and go, oh, that's not a good unpredictable, because he had a lot of detractors. But it's good. It keeps you on your toes. And like you said, there's a lot of big names potentially that are going to be in the Rumble match itself. And it was last year. I liked the Rumble last year because the Rumble had a lot of big names in it. And in those last, 4 or 5 guys, whatever it was, right? You had Punk was still in there. Roman was in there. Cena was in there. Jey Uso was in there, and maybe somebody else. And you really couldn't say for sure, right? Who was going to be the last man standing in that
Logan
match?
Paul and Rollins were still there too. It was a couple of big names in there.
We could be in a similar situation this year where maybe in the Rumble match it comes down to Cody and Gunther and AJ and some people from the Vision like Braun Breaker and other people who could plausibly win the Rumble. Like if you ask me right now, could Braun Breaker win the Royal Rumble? Absolutely. Could Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble? Yes. Cody Rhodes? That I don't see. I don't think they're going to have Cody three-peat, but it's a big name in there, and I think that's a good thing. You want to have, names like that in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I know. Dave is. I knew everybody was going to go and say, he got the Survivor Series stuff right, but it is Survivor Series. It's a lower tiered PLE. It's probably out of all the big 5, it's the most unimportant one that they do, and they probably gave him some bottom of the barrel scraps. Here you go. I mean, I doubt anybody knows exactly what's going on with WrestleMania.
They're not giving him anything. I mean,
no, they're not giving him anything. Especially now, they're not giving him anything.
Well, we'll see. But I mean, they're not going to, let's give Dave some scoops here. Believe me, there's no discussion in WWE about, hey, let's make him look good for a change.
No,
if they can pile on him and make him look as bad as possible at every opportunity, then that's what they're going to do.
Exactly. I mean, listen, man, a bench player batting 100 can come in and fucking hit a pinch in home run every now and then and win the game. So it's one of those situations. But listen, I like the unpredictability, as does Jason, and I feel like with McIntyre, him right now going into the Rumble as the WWE champion, that's the right play. And I do think it adds layers to Cody's character. Now, the rumor is also, additionally, that Cody's character is undergoing some sort of change. Whatever that means, I don't know. Is he going to get a little bit more volatile, a little bit more angry, kind of shed the politician gimmick a little bit and kind of just go balls to the wall?
They could come out in polka dots. I mean, what's he gonna do?
Listen,
if he doesn't wear the suit, what is he wearing out to the ring? Is he gonna wear like normal everyday what
tracksuits?
Tracksuits.
Yeah.
Overalls, maybe.
Yeah, overalls. Yeah. I again, foolishly, I don't know if it's going to happen. I think I may be creating a scenario in my head that's just going to ultimately disappoint me. Bro, I'd love to see him go heel. I don't think they're going to take the title off him now and then have him turn heel. I think that's like creative overload for Triple H. I think he'll have a fucking aneurysm if he does that. But I'd love to see the shifting character go from babyface to heel. And I still think if they are doing Roman and Cody, I don't think that it's going to work with them being two babyfaces. I think Cody has to go heel for it to work. Now I don't know if that's exactly what's going to happen. If that's in the plan still. Where do you see the title going into Mania? Does Drew McIntyre hold the championship through WrestleMania? In your opinion?
I still feel like he's not going to, but I would be okay with it if he did. I'm okay with it if he does, but I still feel like they're going to get it off of him by the Chamber
and give it back to Cody.
Probably, yeah. That's just the feeling I have, and I kind of hope they don't. Like if they like you mentioned before, the possibility of maybe even a triple threat, with McIntyre, Cody, and Fatu. Dude, I would be okay if Fatu straight up won the Rumble and chose to go after Drew one-on-one. Here we are talking about Oba Femi and kind of fantasy booking an Oba Femi Rumble win, but Fatu's been there on the main roster for a while, and he's pretty popular. And if you want to strap the rocket to him, fine with me. I still think it's very predictable if it ends up being Drew as the one who attacked him. That's kind of that's like the low-hanging fruit there. That's the most obvious choice. So maybe they want to go a different way with the whodunit thing, but I'm okay with Fatu against Drew, and I think I'd be okay if they wanted Cody in there. I normally like it being one-on-one, but we got a triple threat match at Mania last year that was excellent with Roman and Cody, or not Roman and Cody, Roman and Punk and Seth. So if they wanted to do a three-way with those guys and get Fatu in the title match at WrestleMania, fine with me. Because if you do take the belt off Drew, what do you do with Drew? You kind of give him the shaft, right, in that scenario.
What do you do with Roman? Does Roman win the Chamber or the Rumble and then go challenge CM Punk for the World Championship?
Well, I don't see the purpose. I just don't see the purpose.
That don't even make sense because
Roman...
the last time we saw them, they shook hands after the War Games. They have no problem with each other.
That's
anymore.
why I can believe when Meltzer says that there was a plan to do Cody and Roman 3 and that they have shelved it for now. That's why I think I can buy into that. Because if you look at the end of that War Games match, Roman and Punk seemed to be okay with each other. And I think he helped Punk to his feet.
Yes.
And he went to go do the same to Cody. Cody got up himself, and they had that little stare down there.
And Roman says, I'm never teaming with you ever again, he said.
And so it felt like at that time, they did have an idea in their head to go back to Cody and Roman. Like they literally shot something in the ring that would lead you to believe that there was an idea to do it. So I can believe that maybe now that's off the table. What do you do with Roman? He doesn't have to be fighting for a championship. I don't really have the appetite for it. If it were me, the one match that we did not get, we saw Roman and Bronson Reed. We didn't see Roman and Braun Breaker. So if Braun Breaker, let's say, is not going to be wrestling for the championship, what do you do with Braun Breaker? He's another guy who's, future WrestleMania main eventer. You got to give him a big match. Why not do Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns and kind of revisit that and have Braun Breaker go over and beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too. That's something I predicted early on too, before we got into all of this creative here coming out of Friday. Then where does that leave Punk? Punk doesn't really have a lot of interesting challenges on Monday night for the World Championship.
No, he doesn't. Although, again, we'll see what they do with Oba once he, debut. I don't know about Punk at Oba. I feel like that's gonna end badly for CM Punk if you do that match. You
know what I think? I think, and this is just me speaking. I do think we see Rollins back in time for Mania, and I do think that we get Rollins and Breaker at WrestleMania.
See, I think I think here's the safer way to go with it. Okay, forget what we want to see. Let's just talk about where we think realistically the main events are going to end up. On the Raw side, I think that we are probably headed for Breaker and Punk again. And I think the safe thing to do is you set that match up. And if they believe that Seth Rollins is going to be back in time, you plug him into that match and turn it into a triple threat match. Because he's got heat with both guys. And he never lost the belt. So it's not a stretch like, oh, you're just inserting him into the title match. Well, yeah, it's the championship he never lost. And it's the guy who kicked him out of his own group.
You want to see another triple threat match that's basically the same, just minus CM Punk?
I'd be okay with it.
Okay.
Well, not minus CM Punk, minus Roman. Right? Because we had Roman, Punk, and Seth last year.
Yeah. What'd you say? I thought you said Roman, Rollins, and Breaker.
No. Breaker, Punk, and Rollins.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
So then where that leaves Roman, I don't know. But I just think if we're looking realistically at what I think it could be, that's the safe way to go. Because if Seth doesn't get medically cleared, you just do Punk and Breaker. And Breaker could get his crowning moment. If Seth is ready, stick him in the match. And I would still have Braun Breaker win.
Yeah.
But stick him in the match and make it a triple threat. I would not want to take one of the top talents I have on my roster that I want this person to work with Seth Rollins one-on-one. But then Rollins doesn't get cleared. And it's like, well, what do you do with the other person now? In this scenario, no one's being harmed. Like if Seth is cleared, you plug him in and it turns into a three-way. It's perfect.
Well, if that's the case, then I do think we get Roman and Cody. There's
no one else for Roman to work with?
No. Who else is there? Jacob Fatu, maybe, but that's about it.
Well, what would be the story behind that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Gunther. What if they don't do Gunther and AJ?
Roman, I could get behind Roman and Gunther for sure.
We haven't seen that.
No. Listen, man. This is exactly what we talked about. Unpredictability. Here we are coming up with multiple scenarios for WrestleMania. You know what? You know what's funny? Rollins' injury fucked everything up because it was you could easily tell where they were going. It was going to be Rollins and Reigns, and that would have just taken both of those guys out. And then maybe we would have got Punk and Cody. To be quite honest with you, that's what I'm still hoping for. But I know we're not getting it. But WrestleMania season is looking a little bit more hopeful than it was last year. So that's all we can ask for. But McIntyre's the champion. He's going to have a new challenger at the Royal Rumble. We predict it's going to be Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn in Montreal, Sami Zayn in Saudi Arabia. I think that makes for a great little story there going into the Rumble. And the Rumble match with the names that we just laid out should be a very exciting Saturday night. So it's gonna feel good on January 31st. That was SmackDown. Raw. We got a decent show. It was a lot better than last week's Stranger Things episode. But Monday Night Raw, the big angle on the show was Adam Pearce and Braun Breaker. Now, last week we talked about Braun Breaker and CM Punk. They went almost 28 minutes in the main event of last week's Raw. It was a decent main event. It certainly felt like there was more to the bone there, more meat on that bone, and we'll probably end up getting it again at some point. But it was the way that Braun Breaker lost. Now, the Vision came out. The baby faces in Penta, Rey Mysterio, and Dragon Lee helped CM Punk kind of fend off the Vision. And it was a GTS that laid out Braun Breaker, and he lost. Now, he was angry as Punk looked on in the distance holding up the championship at the end of that show. And we all wondered, we talked about that last week, how they were going to follow it up. And we joked that Braun Breaker needs to come out and steal the masks and leave the luchadors in a bloody mess and just kind of claim them as his victims. Now, obviously, that wasn't going to happen because this is a PG show, but I thought what they did last night, Jason, with Adam Pearce and the way that they laid it out with him not being in the building and Pearce telling Heyman to relay the message to Braun Breaker, when he gets here, tell him I don't want him here. So then when the match happened, the tag team match with the Luchas and the Vision happened, Braun Breaker showed up and speared the ungodly fucking hell out of Dragon Lee in the aisleway with that great camera shot that you guys hopefully saw on social media. And it led to Adam Pearce and Braun Breaker getting into it. And the storyline now is Breaker is suspended because he put his hands on Adam Pearce. But the thing is, Paul Heyman reiterated to Adam Pearce, you just might have made the biggest mistake of your career because from what we saw, it wasn't Braun Breaker that put his hands on you first. It was you that put your hands on Braun Breaker first. So not only is now he suspended, but now we have a law angle here involved on who is in the wrong. Is it Adam Pearce or Braun Breaker? What'd you make of the situation here? Because I thought what they did last night was great. It was a great way to get Braun Breaker off television going into the Rumble. And it showed you how fucking great Adam Pearce is in this role. I thought he was tremendous last night.
So you don't think there's any chance of Braun Breaker showing up next week anyway and getting involved in the Cody or the Punk and Balor match?
I could see it. I mean, I don't know why they would do that unless he really wants to just miss the Rumble completely. I don't know.
Well, he has reason to be upset with Punk, but then I was thinking if he was going to attack Punk, he just would have attacked him last night.
Sure.
I thought it was well done. I said that last week. There had to be some sort of follow-up to this where he just was in a rage, right, over losing. And so there had to be something like that on the show where he's just like uncontrollable, unrestrained, and how do they handle it? Do they kick him out of the building or does he attack somebody? That spear, by the way they shot that with the drone shot overhead, I mean, that was just tremendous. So I like what they did. And if they do end up keeping him off TV until the Rumble, I think that's the smart thing to do. I continue to be surprised that no one still has declared for the Royal Rumble, including any of the members of the Vision. That's normally what you would get on TV in the weeks leading up to the Rumble. Not a single person, I think, has said anything about being in the actual Rumble match. So I don't know if that's something that you are equally surprised by. But
I haven't even noticed it until you actually mentioned it. Maybe this is their new way of keeping everything hush-hush, Nobody knows.
All right. Maybe so. It's just, for WWE, it's very unusual. But I would imagine that we will see Breaker in there. He is suspended, so technically right now, he won't be in the Rumble, right? Because it's an indefinite suspension. We don't know. But then there's that little loophole, again, Heyman saying, well, you put your hands on him first. So I don't suspect this suspension will last too long. As an angle, though, I thought it was well done. The match itself that they did, it served the only purpose that match served, and it went like 9 or 10 minutes. It didn't even matter. It was just a means to get Braun Breaker to do a run-in.
Yeah.
Literally the only reason that match even happened. Like, Austin Theory already feels like a non-factor on this show. He was more relevant when he was running around with a mask on his head.
Well, I mean, the only thing I thought about when I watched this match is like we talked about it. Well, there he is in this match. Who's going to lose? It's Austin Theory.
What I said that's the reason they added him to the group, was so that they would have a member of the Vision who could eat the pin. You'll see. I'm going to be proven right on that. So I thought they did a good job with it. And look, Adam Pearce does a good job also, I think, in his role.
You see him spitting all over the place? He had spit coming from his chin.
Guy was like slobbering all over himself. He had fucking spit dripping off his chin. He was so friggin' just beside himself. Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. I obviously, he may be in some hot water, but yeah, I thought it was well done. I like what they did.
Yeah, they needed to do it. I thought they went about it in the correct way for sure. Elsewhere on Raw, Io, Rhea now have new challengers. Triple threat match took place between 3 teams. It was the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi, Bayley, Lyra, and Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Now, I had talked about last Monday that we could be looking at Rhea and Io going into Mania with the tag team championships against Liv and Roxanne. Now, they're fast-tracking that match here for Saturday night's main event because they ended up winning this triple threat match. What do you make of that, Jason? And do you feel that, I know we talked about this last week, but I just don't see the point in Rhea and Io walking into Mania with the tag team championships unless there's some bigger plan that we're not seeing and they want to include all these women in some big multi-woman ladder match or something like that at Mania to kind of put a big kibosh on this women's tag team narrative that they're pushing lately. What do you make of Liv and Roxanne challenging, and do you see Rhea and Io walking into Mania with the belts?
I'm just trying to imagine, like, if they don't walk in with the belts, then what else are they doing? I don't know. I mean, it seems to me like they might be walking in with the belts. This might be a way to get all these women involved in something so that they can do something else as far as like the women's world title is concerned. And with the WWE Women's Championship, if we hope and we assume Bianca is back, I mean, that to me, that's still the obvious match. You know, Bianca and Jade is the obvious match. It's all dependent on when Bianca's able to get cleared and come back. I hope that's the Rumble, but we've heard nothing. So it could just be a way where it's like, all right, Rhea's not going to be challenging for the world title. Io's not going to be challenging for the world title. And neither are some of these other women. So what do we have them do? And we'll just kind of put them all together. Maybe there's like a multi-team I would say ladder match. Maybe it could be something like that. We see it with the men sometimes. Maybe they do that with the women for the tag team titles.
Yeah, I was trying to think about this last night. I mean, maybe, and this is just me speaking out loud fantasy booking, maybe Rhea and Io beat all the teams and they have nobody left to challenge. And then they just end up saying, you know what? Rhea never beat Io. I want to wrestle you at WrestleMania. Let's do it. Champion versus champion. Let's do the Shawn Michaels, Steve Austin thing all over again.
But then what do you do with the other women? I mean, that's great for Rhea and Io, but what do you do with Charlotte and Alexa and Asuka?
I don't know. This is why I immediately said, let's throw everybody in the match. Yeah, together.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Rhea and Io. I mean, there's a lot of women, like top name women in that division who, you know, they're involved in the tag team scene. And it's like, what else would you have them doing if they're not going to be wrestling for a singles championship on that show? This is it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll get some sort of multi-woman match at Mania. I'm making a prediction here. I thought Rhea is going to and always will be an odds-on favorite to win the Rumble. I think either Liv or Bianca win the Rumble. I'm not sure who exactly is going to slot where, but I think at the end of all of it, we're looking at Liv Stephanie. We're looking at this women's tag team title match, conglomeration of all these teams. I think we're going to look at Bianca and Jade, and then we'll do, like you said last week, Becky and AJ Lee is the match. Those are the big 4 women's matches I think we're going to get at Mania.
Yeah, and Julia won't even have a match on the show.
No.
If she's defending her title against anybody that week, it'll be on SmackDown.
Yeah. So that's the lay of the land there for the women's tag team division. Rhea and Io defending against Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez on Saturday night's main event. That's the 24th of January. Should be a decent match in Montreal. Should be a hot crowd. Raquel Rodriguez is still challenging for the Women's World Championship. Stephanie Vaquer apparently is injured, but not as bad as it may seem. She did post a picture on social media about how badly bruised her ankle is. She is walking. She's not using a crutch. She's in a walking boot. She's taking bumps on said ankle. So, like you said, whether or not they do Gunther AJ at the Rumble, if there's going to be one women's match at the Rumble, we could be looking at it here, no?
Yeah. I mean, it's I like what they've done lately with Raquel, you know, and even last night, like the promo that she had as far as the attack. Then she broke the bell. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, she broke part of the bell. Even when she did it, I'm like, man, like, careful. So, but I mean, they're building her up. I also noticed she called herself Big Sexy.
Yes. Not only did she take Kevin Nash's advice on how to work in the ring, she took his name.
Yeah, she took his name. I said she's going to bring him in as her new manager soon. It's going to be a long walk to the ring in the stadium for Kevin Nash to make his way out there. But no, look, I like that they're building her up. I had her, like when we were talking about the award stuff, as one of the most improved of last year. So if they really want to build her up for a prime spot, like I'd be okay with that too. You know, they protected her in the triple threat match a few weeks ago because it was her move that had Nikki beat, and then Stephanie stole the pin. So they've kept her strong, and I like what they're doing with her.
Yeah, not bad. I agree there on Raquel. She's actually gotten a lot better, and I think this is as soon as she joined the Judgment Day, you started to see some of who Raquel really is come out. So I think her being in the Judgment Day really has made her flourish into a top talent in that division on Monday night. We have Gunther and AJ before we get to the main event, which I thought was great for the first time that those two have been in the ring. Monday night next week from Belfast is looking like this. CM Punk will defend against Finn Balor, World Heavyweight title. And Becky Lynch will once again defend the IC title against Maxine Dupree. I don't know who asked for 6 matches between these two and who asked for another one after last week's debacle, but we're getting it. Just as a way to get Becky Lynch on the show for the show in Ireland. I mean, every one of their matches has gotten progressively worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how many more we're supposed to be expecting after this. This kind of feels like, okay, this needs to be the end here. And I don't see that ending well for Maxine.
No. Balor and Punk should be a great match. Crowd hopefully should be hot there for 2 of the hometown favorites. But that's all that's been announced for Raw next week. And then Gunther and Styles. They wrestled almost 18 minutes in the main event, first time ever. And Styles earlier in the show, said that he's going to make Gunther tap out like a little bitch. Gunther said that AJ should look at what he did to John Cena and then think about what he's going to be able to do to him in the ring tonight. So they both laid down the challenge to each other. And what they did here, Jason, I thought was very good for a first-time outing, but it was all about the ending here. And the ending, I thought it was great. I could see why some people didn't like it and why some people wanted something else to happen. But apparently here, Styles had Gunther in the calf crusher. And Gunther was not that far from the rope, but he was far enough to where he could not reach it. So Gunther, away from the referee was in prime position, but Gunther pulled one of these situations where he kind of maneuvered his arm around AJ's body, and then on AJ's right leg, he started tapping out. We saw it. So AJ feels it. What happened?
His leg, dude. He was tapping that ass. Did you not see it with your own two eyes, dude?
Like, I didn't want to go into great detail, but
he was tapping that ass. Is what he was doing. It was clear as day. So of course AJ's like, oh, wait, what was this? He's tapping. Of course,
yes.
But it was perfect because the referees, from his vantage point, he couldn't see it.
No.
So now you may have gotten some of this on your end last night. There were some people who were upset that they even had Gunther tap at all. And I looked at it a little bit differently. The way I looked at it is, it was smart because Gunther knew that the referee was not going to be able to see it.
That's exactly what I said, yes.
And he was hoping that AJ would be dumb.
Yes.
It wouldn't wait to hear a bell.
If anybody it makes look bad, it makes AJ look bad out of everybody.
Yes. And so he was hoping he would immediately pop up and say, oh, I won, which is what he did. And the other thing I didn't understand is when the referee felt the need to go over to Alicia Taylor to tell her that the match is continuing, the bell never rang. I don't even know why the referee felt compelled to do that. He should have just told AJ, I didn't see it, just keep wrestling. But he walks over to the ring announcer to let her know. And that's when Gunther takes the shortcut and says, boom, little low blow action going on there. And then he hits the power bomb with the high stack and he gets the win. So I looked at it as he was being smart and AJ was being stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, why AJ didn't wait for an official word from the referee, who was squarely positioned behind him. Usually the referee gets up and like taps the guy administering the submission on his shoulder, like break the hold, the match is over. Nothing happened like that. And then the referee, he kind of leans in through the ropes. He goes all the way to the other side of the ring to tell Alicia Taylor. All he needed to do was like kind of stand in the middle of the ring, kind of wave his hands. It's not over yet. The match is continuing. He made it look like a comedy show out there. He like almost dove through the ropes to tell her what was going on. But Gunther, anyway, low blow, like Jason said, power bomb, 1, 2, 3. And I looked at it as the same way as Jason did. I felt like it just kind of showed you the ring IQ of Gunther, but it made AJ look like a little silly.
This was Gunner. That's who this was.
Yeah,
this was Gunner. He was tapping that ass and he got the win.
Oh,
a good night for Gunther.
So now this is clearly setting up for a rematch at some point. When and where, nobody knows. Obviously, AJ, I said this last night, the story is AJ is going to make it now an obsession to tap out Gunther, being that Gunther's been on this crusade about tapping John Cena out like a little bitch. AJ is going to try and get him to tap out. How many times it's going to take, I don't know. But, you know, it was an obsession of Shawn Michaels to end the streak. And he couldn't do it. And he brought himself to a point, well, if I can't do it, I'm going to retire. And I'm retiring if I can't beat the streak. So I don't know if it's going to be in the same vein as that. It may be. We may be headed towards that at WrestleMania. But they did mention last night, I don't know if you picked up on it, Michael Cole, like a dummy, mentioned AJ is saying that this is going to be his last year. We talked about it last week. Hopefully nobody was going to mention it. And then Michael Cole's like, AJ has stated that this is going to be his last year as an in-ring competitor. Like, come on, bro.
He goes and just blurts it out. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
So we don't know if AJ is eventually going to get frustrated enough to a point where he can't tap out Gunther, to a point where he puts his career on the line. I don't know, but I thought what they did was a great setup for the next match eventually, whether it happens at the Rumble or they mix it up in the Rumble at the Chamber and we get the final match at WrestleMania. I like what they're doing so far. So good.
You think they do a submission match?
Someone in my chat brought that up last night. I don't mind if they actually want to go that route. No. We'll see.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was the main event last night. All in all, better than last week, but still, you know, I feel like with these international shows, they kind of I don't want to say there's no effort, but there's not as much effort as when they are operating normally. 8 p.m. Eastern here in the States, I feel like they kind of just do what they got to do and on to the next. So hopefully we got a little bit more exciting things to come going into the Rumble. Other news and notes here as I skimmed through my notes. We talked about Drew and the title. We talked about NXT. Jericho, no news on Jericho. Jericho's status is still unknown. No creative going into last night's show. I know there was a rumor that he could potentially show up on TNA. We'll talk about TNA in a little bit with their debut on AMC. So nothing new on the Jericho front, so keep an eye out for that. WWE. Apparently, they have great interest, Jason, in Powerhouse Hobbs. So this is coming from Dave Meltzer of The Observer. And he says, and I quote, "I know that those in WWE really, really want him. There's people there very behind him that are very high on him in WWE. Now, regarding specific status of Hobbs' contract with AEW, that remains unclear. When asked about the expiration date of Hobbs' deal, Meltzer noted that while the timeline is unknown, Hobbs is expected to field offers when the time does come. He says, Hobbs' deal, I don't know when that's up, but he'll definitely get offers. We all noticed it as well. When he was in the match at World's End, he was in fighting shape there. He looked the best I had seen him," says The Observer. So, I don't know, man. Hobbs, I don't know where I heard it. I thought I seen it sometime in the middle of last year that Hobbs' deal was maybe up this year. I'm not really sure where I seen it or heard it, but regardless, when he does have an expiration on that AEW deal, I have no doubt about it. There's no question that WWE is going to be looking at him. He fits the criteria of what they look for in a star to the T. So, Hobbs and WWE, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think they would be crazy not to, make an overture to him. And I think Tony Khan would be crazy not to do everything in his power to hold on to him. So, I mean, I don't know how old he is. He's not that old. So I'm not sure, age-wise. And he's had some injury issues in the past. But, right now he's doing the thing with the ops. So he's, reasonably visible on TV. He's just in the main event last week. 34. Okay. So, I mean, he's going to get offers. He should get offers. I think he'd be a great pickup for WWE. But if I'm Tony Khan, I'm doing everything in my power to hold on to him.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But WWE is very much in acquisition mode. If you read the sheets, they are not only interested in Powerhouse Hobbs, whose contract.
But I thought the report a few weeks ago was that they weren't looking to acquire anybody.
Well, I mean,
wasn't there a hiring freeze? Wasn't that the rumor going around?
Depends on who you listen to and who you read. Apparently, not only Hobbs, but they are interested in Gabe Kidd. Kid, who made a name for himself as a focal point in the Bullet Club War Dog faction, is expected to see his contract expire at the end of this month. Dave Meltzer noted that while he does not know the exact date, most New Japan contracts traditionally end this month. Gabe Kidd is another one that WWE wants. I'm sure AEW wants him. I'm sure New Japan wants to retain him. With Kidd, it's going to be real interesting with him because I think that he really loves New Japan, and New Japan made him a star. So, yeah, go ahead.
So Meltzer I think it was on Observer Radio, was talking about Gabe Kidd, and I'm just paraphrasing here, but he was talking about, he can talk, which he can, but he made a very curious comment, and he said he's got a hell of a look. And like, of all the things that you could say about like Gabe Kidd, like he's a good promo, and obviously he's a good wrestler, but he was like, he's got a hell of a look. And I'm like, does he? Like, what constitutes a hell of a look for Gabe Kidd? Am I missing something here?
No, you're not. I mean, I don't want to say he looks generic, but there's nothing that really stands out at first glance about Gabe Kidd's look or appearance.
Yeah, it was kind of a curious comment. I'm like, am I missing? Because he seems, I mean, compared to some of the other people they have on the roster, he looks pretty ordinary. He's a great talent, but I wouldn't say that, oh man, he's got a hell of a look. Like, does he? I mean, am I missing something here?
I don't know. Meltzer says what he wants to say. Where would you see him fitting in? Would he go? It would almost be. I don't want to say ridiculous because everybody's got to get acclimated to the WWE system because it's just something that works differently than other places that you may have worked. But do you see him being slotted in on an NXT and bringing him into NXT if he does sign?
Yeah, that's where I would think he would end up. I mean, I could see him again ending up on eventually on a SmackDown and having great matches with people like Ilya Dragunov and stuff. He'd probably fit right in there. But I would think, especially with the turnover in NXT right now, they could probably use someone like him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really. I mean, I think he's okay. I mean, I haven't seen enough of his work outside of the one match with Omega, which, I mean, if you base it off just that, he's a great worker.
Well, he just had the match with Darby at World's End.
That's fine. I mean, nothing really stood out about it. It's going to blow me away.
That was the bloodbath that you would expect in the AEW pay-per-views. But no, he's a good wrestler, and he's got this intensity about him, and he can cut a promo. Again, just like physically, he's not like the biggest guy. There's nothing about him in that regard that really stands out to me. But he's a talented guy, and I think in NXT, I think that he could probably thrive. There, especially at a time when we've talked about the. I mean, what word would you even use for it to describe the situation with the men's division right now? I mean,
it's dire down there.
Yeah, I mean, they could probably use someone like him. I know they got Ricky Starks, they're Saints, and Ethan Page is still down there, and now they're calling up some people like Keanu Carver from Evolve. But when you compare the men's division and the state of the men's division to that of the women's, it's been pretty, bare bones as far as the men are concerned. So they could use a Powerhouse Hobbs or a Gabe Kidd.
There's another name that WWE is reportedly interested in, and going back to what Meltzer said about Gabe Kidd, I do think that this particular individual does have a great look, and I think he would fit in very well, not even in NXT, but on the main roster. And that is David Finlay, son of WWE legend Fit Finlay, who is a current producer for the WWE. He's been discussed as a major possibility to join the company, and with his father being there, it's more of a realistic opportunity and option for him than not. SAP of Fightful Select reported that the official negotiations have not yet commenced. The interest from WWE, particularly within the NXT brand, is very high on Finlay's current obligations to New Japan. And apparently he's a fourth-generation wrestler, currently cornerstone of New Japan right now, where he led the Bullet Club War Dog faction and served as a two-time IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion. He recently secured a massive victory in the New Japan Cup in 2025, solidifying his status as one of the promotion's premier heels. He's only 32 years old, and WWE, like we just mentioned, and we have mentioned, is currently experiencing a heavy period of talent acquisition and brand movement from NXT to the main roster. So with Trick Williams and Javon Evans and Jordan Grace and Lash Legend and Oba Femi getting called up, and some of the women we just talked about on this episode tonight, they are definitely in need of some already made talents. And Ava has confirmed that there are more spots opening up on the roster for 26. So him joining NXT would absolutely be, I don't want to say a huge acquisition. It may be the biggest acquisition if they do end up getting someone like him. But I look at someone like him, Jason, does he go to NXT immediately, or do you bring someone like him to the main roster? Because I think he would be already main roster ready upon arrival there.
Yeah, but I mean, most people are main roster ready. When they pluck these people out of New Japan or AEW, Mariah May, right? She was main roster ready.
Yeah.
But there is a learning curve, and I think it might have been her choice even to start there. And even AJ Styles, I think, has made comments. He went straight to the main roster, but he says, I think he wishes he would have had some time in NXT. So I think all of these names, if they were to migrate over, they're going to start in NXT. I don't see any of them being above an NXT star. Like, oh, you got to start this guy in the main roster. No, I think NXT is probably where they would end up, and let him have a run there for a little while, and then eventually, when there's a good spot for him, you call him up to Raw or SmackDown.
So keep an eye on that. But WWE is looking to add even more talent, and I know Tony Khan would love to take that talent away from signing to WWE. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. Shifting gears to some AEW, and then we'll end with some pretty comical stories. I got one here on Rikishi. I got one on Eric Bischoff and what he said about the TNA debut on AMC, which will break that down. And I got something here on Bruce Prichard and what he said about the WWE PLEs and why they have downsized their PLE. So we'll talk about that. But AEW, we had Dynamite on Wednesday, and we're going into Maximum Carnage tomorrow night. So Wednesday night was a decent show. Again, nothing really. I heard what you said, Jason, and I was glad that you mentioned it, because I know And I agree with you. I do enjoy the story or some of the story that we've been given with Takeshita and Okada, which they seemingly haven't really kind of forwarded in any meaningful way since we came out of the pay-per-view World's End in December. There's no real... I don't want to... There is story. I don't want to sit here and tell you that AEW is not telling stories. They're not telling enough stories, and the stories that they are telling, they don't really go full-fledged storytelling. But there's nothing on this show that legitimately you watch for 2 hours that you can physically sink your teeth into, and at the end of the 2 hours say that you care about it and have any great interest in it. It always seems like, all right, I just watched a 2-hour wrestling show with a lot of pro wrestling and barely any story, and I just want more. They don't leave you with feeling, man, I can't wait for next week's show, but next week it's more banger matches and more party matches, and we got more Continental Eliminators. It's like, I just want something to really fucking sink my teeth into, hit live on the stream button, and talk about where it goes, where it doesn't go, and what possibilities come out of the story. I don't get none of that with AEW, so I'm glad that you mentioned that Wednesday's show didn't really give you a lot of desirable story coming out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels very, very cold right now, especially coming out of the pay-per-view. And I guess, Takeshita and Okada, they're coming back from Japan, and so... maybe they're just, I don't know. Maybe they're waiting for this week. I would expect them to be back. I would hope they're back on TV. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different stories going on, and there's the downfall of Mercedes, and there's this run that Moxley's on right now with the Continental title. Who's he going to lose it to? And are they ever going to advance some sort of story with him and the Death Riders? Darby is getting Pac, and so that's fine because they were going to do that, I'm sure, in the, they were going to do it in the tournament.
Yes.
Had Darby not gotten bounced. So, there's different things going on, but, nothing is really, again, grabbing me. This is a must-see story that I want to see play out. Everything just feels very cold right now. I'm glad MJF is the champion. I think he's the right man for the job right now. He's got a lot of different challengers. Hopefully that will pick up this week. Kenny Omega is going to be back on the show. But I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see what that story is going to be, because right now it's not really resonating with me.
No, there's really nothing to get excited about. Moxley, he wrestled Shelton Benjamin in a Continental title eliminator. Moxley is on this, I don't even want to call it a babyface run. Apparently, the Death Riders are still very much heels, but Moxley is operating as his own guy. He's like a rogue. So he's doing what this... Continental Classic, he deemed like it was a celebration of pro wrestling, and he's celebrating this win, this championship, as everybody's in the back, and he's just pro AEW all of a sudden. So he's having these great matches, and we mentioned last week that Moxley and the Death Riders are a little bit more digestible now than they were in the beginning of 2025. Not by much though, but Moxley's obviously the bright spot of the group here with his recent performances. First of all, eliminator matches are awful. I don't know why we do them. Vince did them with the championship contender matches, and I don't know why Tony Khan has seemingly adopted this absolutely awful Vince McMahon-ism here for his show. I never understood the fact that the champion is wrestling the challenger, and if the challenger beats the champion, he gets a championship match instead of the challenger winning matches to get the championship match over a period of time. I don't really understand that. So not only is it awful, we get these matches, Jason, where Moxley and these Continental Championship matches, these eliminator matches, there's a 20-minute time limit attached to every one of them. And AEW does this more times than not. And I mentioned this on my Wednesday stream. I'm watching this, and I said to myself, I guarantee you this goes 19 minutes, and they fucking end the match before the fucking 20-minute time limit. Bro, they took this match to 19 minutes and 55 seconds. And I look at that, and I'm saying to myself, how stupid is that? You run the gimmick into the ground by bringing it to the brink of the time limit. At that point, you should have just let Shelton Benjamin outlast Moxley and go the time limit so that we get an actual proper match for it with some meaning behind it. But they didn't even go and do that. It's like me watching a baseball game, and apparently, you got every game goes extra innings, and then something happens in the 14th inning. If every game ended that way, it's like, all right, man, enough is enough. Come on now. Did you find that to be ridiculous?
I was very surprised that they didn't go to a time limit draw here to get a second match with Shelton. Because Shelton's been pretty well protected, I would say. And the rules are that if you go to a time limit draw, you automatically earn a championship match. So I thought it would go to the draw. When they announced there was a minute left, I said, okay, this is going to go to a draw. The thought never occurred to me they were actually going to beat Shelton with 5 seconds left. And so now it's over. You know, there won't be a rematch. They shook hands when it was over. I don't know where Shelton goes from here because he doesn't have Lashley with him now. And I guess it's just on to the next. That was the biggest surprise to me. I thought we were going to get a second match out of it.
I don't know why they didn't do it either. I mean, it's just, and I don't know who Moxley's wrestling this week or if he's even on the show this week. I'm trying to see what's.
I don't think they've announced the match for him, but I would imagine tomorrow, probably afternoon, they'll just announce he's.
Yeah, and whoever they announce him in the match with, he'll probably go 19 minutes and 30 seconds. It's like they dragged the gimmick and fucking pounded into the ground. It's ridiculous.
Has he wrestled the Beast Mortos yet? Because maybe that could be the match.
I don't know. I mean, do you want to see that match? Are you lobbying to see that match?
I mean, it's better than him wrestling who? I mean, is there anybody that you would be excited to see him in an eliminator match with tomorrow?
I don't know. I don't really care about the Continental Championship to begin with, so it is a moot point. We got Moxley and I lost my AEW Dynamite notes here. Moxley and Shelton Benjamin. We'll see what happens with Moxley in the Continental Championship. We got MJF and Bandito, which was the highlight of the show. MJF came out with his who is this guy? His representation of sorts. Is a language translator?
It's like his heel translator. He was the guy when MJF was at Arena Mexico wrestling Mystico. He was in his corner. So basically, who this guy is, if you don't know who he is, 2 things. Number one, it's Serpentico. So if you remember Serpentico, it's Serpentico without the mask.
Oh.
But if you remember, Samoa Joe had a match on Dynamite a couple years ago, probably. And the greatest nope spot, probably in a Samoa Joe match in AEW, where the guy came flying. That was the guy, John Cruz. And he came flying off the top. Joe just walked aside, and the guy's like that. That's that guy. That's John Cruz.
Interesting.
Or as he called him, Jonathan Cruz.
Interesting. You know, he took that bump on Wednesday from MJF inadvertently hitting him with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. That was the best punch bump I've seen in years. He fell flat on his back, out cold.
Yeah.
So I thought what MJF did with Bandito and setting up that match was really good. It was it's just great to see MJF work with basically nothing and try to make some sort of story out of it. And you know, his banter with Bandito was great. And the match should be fantastic tomorrow. Bandito, in my opinion, is the best luchador in the world right now.
It was a little ridiculous, though, when they got it. MJF put himself in position for the 21-plex.
Yes. I know what you're talking about.
He's just bent over, right? And he must have been like that dude for like, I don't know, 10 or 12 seconds, just standing there like that. I'm like, all right. Like, you make it any more obvious what's about to happen here.
He's trying to catch his breath after knocking his buddy out, you know?
I guess so.
So that match is happening tomorrow. Great segment with those 2 guys last week. We had a Willow TBS title celebration where...
Oh, we have to talk about the light bill that Tony Khan didn't pay for Dynamite last week. The lights went off multiple times during the show.
I didn't. We were going to get there, but please divulge into the Con Edison bill that wasn't paid.
Yeah, well, I mean, it started with this segment. It was they came out. It was Willow and it was Harley Cameron and it was Chris Statlander, and they come out to the ring and Renee's in the ring, and as Renee is beginning the interview, the lights go out. Not like completely, but there was obviously a lighting grid that just, I don't know, got unplugged or it shorted out or whatever happened. So there was some like house lights, but it was very dark. And I don't know, 5 minutes maybe it took. And then eventually, towards the very end of the segment, the lights came back on. I think there were 2 more times, actually, that I think it happened one other time and then again in the main event, which, funny enough, was advertised as a lights out match. So you can't make this shit up. Like,
yes, they wrestled in the fucking dark for about 3 minutes.
Like, they had a lights out match scheduled on a show where the lights literally went out. Like, you just can't make this shit up. So I don't know. I mean, look, things happen, but it was, I guess it was kind of meant to be, you might say. But yeah, this segment here was, you might call this a dark segment because it was mostly dark, and it was I guess it was nice to have somebody other than Mercedes for a change have a championship celebration. But here's the thing about this segment, and I said this in my review, because Mercedes eventually came out to interrupt. Actually, no, she was invited out. But she came out wearing a white veil. Now, like normally in this situation, you would be wearing a black veil, right? She looked like she was walking down the aisle to marry Frank the lawyer. So she's coming down to the ring, and she's in the middle of her downfall phase. So she just looked like she hasn't slept, and she freaked out, and there was a cake in the ring. So, of course, what do you think happened, right? She ended up going face first into the cake, and I said, boy, this looks awfully familiar to me. I go, did we not have a segment on television already where Mercedes went face first into a cake? And I said, I'm almost positive we saw this. And sure enough, like, dude, we had a segment like this like a couple months ago with Statlander, and the same thing.
With the fucking puppet. She was underneath the ring with the puppet, and she goes into the fucking cake before full gear. Yeah.
Yes. So they just did the same thing with Mercedes going face first into the cake.
Maybe she likes pie. I don't know.
This is cake. There's a difference. There's a difference between cake and pie, both of which I very much enjoy. But there is a difference. They're not the same thing.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
I kid. I joke. But yes, Jason is correct. This was a redone. I didn't even call that out on Wednesday until you just mentioned it now.
I'm watching it. I'm like, she's got like the frosting and everything on her face. And I'm like, this looks awfully familiar. I go, did we not just do this like 2 months ago with the same person?
Yes, that's exactly what they did. Mercedes goes into this cake. Actually, Willow had automatically telegraphed her coming out because that's what happens in a celebration over a championship for whomever. Someone comes out and interrupts. So she actually welcomed Mercedes to come on out before she was interrupted. So she went into the cake. And I guess we'll talk about this here. If you guys watched AW's YouTube, there was a segment that aired on Collision that was very well shot, I got to admit. This is where AEW does things better than WWE. I love the way that they're cinematically shot. This was a great video of Mercedes kind of laying on the floor, looking in front of a mirror, and the camera was filming from behind her, looking at her reflection in the mirror. And then when she really got serious and wanted to kind of put a statement on what she was saying, she looked back at the camera and just kind of get a little bit more evil. I don't know where they're going with this characterization. She is breaking down. She's kind of losing it. She had cake all over her face. She did say in the closing segment of this vignette, she said that when she's taking a break, by the way, from AEW, but when she comes back, she's going to be taking more than belts. Now, I don't know if that means she's coming back as a darker character. I mean, I don't know if that veil was something of a tease. Maybe she's going to go dark. Maybe she called Dwayne up and got some ideas about how to take souls. I don't know what's going on. What do you think's happening with Mercedes?
Hey, she's going to be taking something. We may have a repeat of the Nightmare Collective where she's going to be taking some scalps. And remember that whole phase with
I would rather
Brandy
not.
With Brandy's group.
Yeah, I would rather not.
Well, if not that, then I don't know what she would be referring to.
Do you think she's coming back as a faction with the faction?
No.
No.
I feel just like out of nowhere, she'll have people with her. I feel like that's something that I thought that there was an idea where we had the Renegade Twins on the show. Yes. I forgot what show it was, a couple months ago. And I thought maybe they could set something up there because I think years ago, maybe she had talked about maybe wanting to do something like that with the Renegade Twins. And I don't even know if the Renegade Twins are actually signed to AEW contracts. They kind of sporadically show up. So I thought maybe they were building to something there, and then nothing came of that. I mean, I suppose she could just show up with a bunch of people at her side, but I would just think that would be something that would they would build to, and they would kind of take their time, and maybe she would take this person, take that person. I don't know. I don't know how long she's going to be out for. You know, is she going to be out until Revolution? Are we talking beyond Revolution? I don't know.
I don't know. Mini July in the chat says this will be the birth of Mercedes Moné, the final CEO. Could be.
The final CEO?
To take on The Rock's final boss? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Are we going to miss Mercedes, being that she's now taking a break from AEW? Does the division suffer without her presence there on weekly television?
No. I mean, they have a lot of other women now who, now that Willow has the TBS title and they have these tag belts, hopefully will step up and they will have the opportunity to shine a little bit. So I don't think that it doesn't hurt the division. This story with her is playing out. She lost 2 world title matches, and she just lost again recently to Willow and put her over. She did her part, and now it's time for other people to get a chance. And when the story calls for it, she'll be back. So I don't think it hurts the show.
I think still we're headed towards an eventual Mercedes return. She's going to come back stronger than ever, win the Owen again for a second year in a row, and get that championship match all in. I think that's the
as a
direction.
heel.
Yeah, against a babyface Tony Storm. Yeah, I think that's the match.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just my prediction. We'll see what happens. But elsewhere on this show, we had the debut of Jake Doyle. Jake Something is now signed with AEW, and Jake Something is listen. He's a very good professional wrestler. You look at Jake Something, you know he's a pro wrestler. I don't know how TNA dropped the ball with him. They fumbled.
They fumbled the bag.
Yeah.
I don't understand how. I mean, how long was he there for? It was a few years, I think.
A few years, easy, yeah.
And I know he was injured at one point. He came back. How do you not have more for someone like this to do? I don't understand it, especially now, and he was on some of the promotional materials for the AMC debut. So they're going into this new era of TNA Impact on AMC, and I just don't understand how you just allow someone like that to slip away.
Yeah, I don't know. He was apparently, according to Google, he was with TNA from 18 to 22. And his second stint with the company began at Slammiversary 23 and ended with his contract ending on January 1st of this year. So he was with them for a while. So he joined AEW. He is in the Don Callis family because that's everybody who joins AEW. That's their initiation process. Join the Don Callis family. What the initiation process is, nobody knows. I don't think I want to know. But he is now paired with Mark Davis. So it looks like, Jason, by the looks of it, that we may be getting some sort of duo here with Mark Davis, who was in dire need of something because Aussie Open was dead. Kyle Fletcher is going on to be a huge piece of that company as a singles. So Mark Davis was left out with nothing to do. So now he's got someone who looks exactly like him, can match his size and strength, and that guy is Jake Something here, Jake Doyle, which is his real name. It's his government name. So I like the pairing. The tag team division in AEW was great with Brodito. They kind of have lost its way again for whatever reason with FTR as the champions. And they got a lot of great talented teams there. So I hope that they have something in store for these two guys to let them go out there and do what they need to do as a decent heel team. I just don't really give AEW the benefit of the doubt to go and do that. So it may be a good pairing, but I don't think AEW is going to give them anything much to do.
Well, and then, we also, talk about the return of Andrade.
Yeah.
Because Doyle was not the only member of the Callis family. I can't even call him a new member. I mean, Andrade had already joined, and then he went on sabbatical for a little bit, so now he's back. And obviously this comeback here did not hit quite the same way as it did back in October. In part because in October he attacked one of the biggest stars in the company, and he did not do so this time. So he wasn't even the first person on that show on Wednesday to join the Don Callis family. So you talk about people just kind of feeling like another face in the crowd. It's going to be very important for Tony Khan to do something, for Andrade's sake, to really distinguish him from some of the other people in that faction. Because even in the family he is now part of, being generous, where would you say he falls?
He's number four. He's number 4.
Yeah, no, he's ahead of Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
I'll put him ahead of Alexander, but he's behind Okada, he's behind Fletcher, and he's behind Takeshita. So starting out at number 4, look, we've seen members of this group come out, and Callis is the one who really gets more face time than anybody else in this faction. And we've seen examples of guys just kind of standing there in the background, and they become background noise. So it'll be important for them to just make sure they handle Andrade in a way where he doesn't become background noise.
Yeah, I don't know. They were better off just doing something completely different with Andrade for his re-debut here. I mentioned that you could have gone out and hired a beautiful valet for him, or go out and get fucking Jose to come in and manage him again. Something that just lets him stand out on his own, bro. They put him in a faction, like you said. He wasn't even the first guy announced on the show. And then what they did is basically run the same return back that they did 3 months ago. So it's like you can't even come up with a creative way to bring him back. You just run the same thing back and have him attack Jack Perry, who's not Kenny Omega. So what is that going to do?
Well, look, we're getting Kenny Omega back on the show tomorrow. I would have waited a week and I would have run back the same angle.
Yes, I said that on
Omega
Wednesday.
shows
Why
up
didn't
and
they
it's
wait?
like, fucking attack him again. Second time in a row. I don't know why they didn't just wait the extra week.
Now, the question is Omega going to go and attack Andrade for what he did 3 months ago?
I mean, I don't know. He's talking about going after the world title. He didn't mention anything about Andrade.
This is the same guy that fucking had Kyle Fletcher put him through a table and nothing was made about that. So
he's a very forgiving person. He just lets bygones be bygones. He doesn't look backwards. He looks forwards. So probably not. I don't know what he'll be doing tomorrow. He'll be there. But yeah, it's kind of weird if there is no interaction between them, because you would think something like that would have to be answered for. We know why in the immediate aftermath, nothing was able to be said legally, but like, okay, he's back now. So they absolutely should do something. But then there's the other issue where if it leads to a match, how do you have Andrade lose that match? He has to win. But you're trying to build Kenny up for a world championship match. So what do you do?
I don't know.
How are you going to beat Andrade in his first big match back, right? You don't really want to do that.
You put him in a tag team match, 6-man match, and have one of the other geeks in the Don Callis family take the pin. So the visual of Kenny Omega getting the best of Andrade is that way.
An all-star tag?
Yes, all-star 6-man, 8-man.
How much money on the How much money on the line?
I don't know. How much is 500,000 pesos? I don't know.
Why pesos? Where'd that come from?
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, man. I agree. They should have just waited till this coming Maximum Carnage to do the return. But again, I don't have any faith in Andrade over on AEW here. But he's back. He's in the Callis family. At the end of this stupid segment, FTR wheeled out Stokely and had to stare down with everybody. So I don't even know what that means. With the Bucks laying on the ground with their boy Jack Perry, are we really teasing another FTR title defense against the Young Bucks?
Yes.
What would that be? 6 matches now between the two?
I don't know. I've lost track. I have no idea. I can tell you one thing. I don't really have any appetite for it.
No, neither do I. I don't know who asked for it, but the Young Bucks did say on their Being the Elite that they have one more major babyface running them. Gee, I wonder what that means. Are we getting FTR versus the Young Bucks at Revolution in Los Angeles with them winning the titles? That's what I think is going to happen. Where the fuck is Adam? Where's Copeland? Where's Christian?
Yeah, that got dropped. So you think they would take the belts off FTR before they even have the rematch with Cope and Christian?
Yeah,
wasn't that the whole point of putting the belts back on them?
Talking about. Of course, I think they'll do that. What are you talking about?
Wasn't that the whole point of getting the belts on them in the first place?
Bro, Beth Phoenix was pile drived at All Out. They're not gonna play it out. He did say he's done. I don't know. I can't have this happen to my family any longer. But where's Christian? Nothing happened to him.
Well, because Nick Wayne, I think they were hoping he would be healed up from the foot injury. We haven't seen him. I kind of feel like they're waiting for him to recover, because we never got a singles match with him and Christian. And now it almost doesn't even matter, because it's been so much time has gone by.
Yes.
Like, if these guys suddenly showed up again on TV, it would be so cold, because I barely remember everything that even went down with the patriarchy before. You'd have to like re-educate everybody or remind everybody all over again about where we left off with that. It's cooled off so much. Why even bother doing the match?
Well, it was all out in September, October, November, December. 4 months. 4 months we're going on. Not a single word of Adam Copeland and Christian Cage.
Yeah, not even mentioned. And Nick Wayne, who still, by the way, I believe has one of those is it the Ring of Honor TV title that he still has?
Yes.
Now, did they do an interim title for that too, or did they not do that?
No, they just completely ignored it. Nobody cares. I don't know. Sammy Guevara. He was on the show. I don't know.
I fucking know, dude.
Sammy Guevara, who's the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion, wrestled Bandito, who is the Ring of Honor World Champion. This was basically done to give Bandito some momentum going into his match with MJF, which he will inevitably lose tomorrow. So Guevara, I'd love to care about Sammy Guevara, but I can't even tell you when the last time we saw him on Dynamite was. So
I can tell you.
Go ahead.
2024.
I got the year already fucking ready to go.
I looked it up.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sammy Guevara.
Not much to say. I mean, It was a guy for Bandito to beat. Sammy, obviously, he's a talented guy, so they had a competitive match, and we knew Sammy was going to lose. And we probably won't be seeing him on Dynamite again for another year and a half.
Nope.
So, okay.
A former pillar. He's now
former
pillar. Now squandered to Ring of Honor. There you go. Main event here, we had Adam Page. There was a ladies match here. Tony Storm and Marina Shafir went to a disqualification.
Ooh,
yeah, not good. Not good.
This was not good. Did you see that? I think it was Tiger Feint head scissors that Marina went for.
Yes.
I mean, she tried to go for it. I don't know. I don't know what went wrong, but it didn't go according to plan, and it was kind of a microcosm of the entire match. This was not good.
Yeah, the quicker they get Tony Storm away from this group, the better. She is not entertaining at all with these middle of the road guys, but that's what happened there. In the main event, we got Adam Page and Swerve. Great tag team. Love both of these guys against the Ops, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Hook in a legitimate lights out match for the first 3 minutes, and then the light bill was paid. This went almost 20 minutes overrun for Dynamite. And I was anticipating when this match was going to end, but normally they end at 10:05, 10:07. This went almost 10:20. So we got the baby faces winning here, and the typical stuff here: chains and kendo sticks, staple guns.
I told
cinder
you last
blocks.
week. I said watch for the staple gun, and sure enough, we got the staple gun.
We got cinder blocks here. A couple spots on the cinder blocks, which
I have to say. There was what was the spot?
Bro, there was a Deadeye spot from Page on the cinder blocks. Now, if you do this real life, you ain't walking after this move is executed.
Well, at least there though. I think that was on Hobbs, and I don't think.
He didn't move again. He was done.
Okay, so that was fine, but there was a spot where Swerve, I think, he got a World's Strongest Slam. On the cinder blocks.
Yes. He got up 5 minutes later.
Moments later, he was up and moving around like it ain't no big thing.
Oh my God, man.
Okay.
There's no consequence for anything that happens on this show. Yet, I mean, this is what they defend. I can't get behind it. I'm sorry. It looks ridiculous. But that's his thing. He loves his cinder blocks and staple guns. Hangman and Swerve win. Page got the loss here as Hangman hung him over the top rope as they ran the same spot that he did with Moxley at All In with the steel chain over the top rope. He submitted with the chain around the throat. And that was the way the show went off the air. So what do you envision here, Jason? After MJF dispatches of Bandito tomorrow, what are we looking at as far as what you see coming out of this week's show? Any insight as to where you think the AEW World Title match is going into the pay-per-view? Your StreamYard just showed up, by the way.
Okay. I mean, look, clearly they're building, I would think they're building a story with Kenny. And I think I said this last week that I think Double or Nothing would make for a better time to do MJF and Omega for the championship. You could do it at Revolution. It may well be the Revolution match. They may want a big main event for Revolution, but I just think you could take your time and really have Omega work his way back up to that number one spot and do it at Double or Nothing. If they don't do MJF and Omega at Revolution, I feel like we might be looking at MJF and Darby. I feel like Darby's going to get that win over Pac. When he does, what would be the next logical direction for Darby? Would it not be the championship?
What confuses me about this Darby Allin Death Riders thing is he's seeking this win over Pac, and he's making a big deal because he can't beat Pac. He hasn't beaten Pac, but his whole thing was getting rid of the Death Riders and exiling the Death Riders from AEW. Meanwhile, he's focusing on Pac and getting this win. Meanwhile, Jon Moxley somehow is getting stronger. So what was the original vision of Darby Allin getting rid of the Death Riders if they're only getting stronger? What are they doing here? It don't even make sense now.
I mean, it almost feels like they just decided to take it in a different direction. Because everything seems to be building to, John Moxley was tapping out to everybody, right? And he was losing. He lost the championship. He lost the Derby. He lost in Blood and Guts. And now he's like Superman. He's the babyface. He's winning the Continental Classic. He's defending the champion. Well, not defending it, but he's out there wrestling and putting that belt, in the spotlight every single week. And it's like the rest of the Death Riders have catching up to do because now Moxley is in the driver's seat. So it's like they did a total 180 from where it looked like this thing was going. You can't tell me that plans didn't along the way at some point change for what they envisioned this Death Riders angle to be. So, they just took it a different way altogether. And I guess Darby is okay with the Death Riders living on as long as he gets that one last elusive win over Pac, which I think he'll get. But again, like if he beats Pac, where does he go next? The World Championship. And he has history with MJF. So you could do MJF and Darby at Revolution.
And maybe they do Kenny and Andrade at Revolution and give Andrade some wins before they eventually feed him to Omega.
Sure. If he beats Omega can maybe get his win back at Dynasty or something.
Yeah.
And then eventually you get to Double or Nothing. I don't know where they're doing it this year. I don't think it's going to be Vegas. Because I think they're doing some shows in Vegas in the next few months. So that tells me they're probably not doing Double or Nothing in Vegas. But when you get there, it is traditionally one of their bigger shows of the year. And you do Kenny and MJF on that show. This is assuming, by the way, that they don't want to just run back something with MJF and Hangman and Swerve, like a triple threat or something.
No, that's boring.
And it's kind of been done already, with Joe thrown in there. I see I said this when I did my predictions on my show at the beginning of the year. I think Hangman and Swerve are going to be the AEW Tag Team Champions this year.
Well, if Swerve didn't get hurt last year, I do genuinely think that was the plan going into the pay-per-view at All In. I think they were going to eventually win the tag team titles going into Forbidden Door.
Yeah, so I see that happening this year.
Yeah.
So I think that they would want to. I'm not saying they have to be just a permanent tag team and that's all they do from here on out, but I don't think Wednesday will be the last time we see these two as tag team partners. So I think you can kind of have them maybe in that realm for a while, and you still have other people. You have Darby, you have Omega. Who else? There was somebody else I think that also laid claim to wanting to go after the championship, but Joe, I guess. But
they could always run Mark Briscoe back.
Yeah, well, Briscoe beat him.
Yeah.
I said, maybe that's not a pay-per-view main event, but you could absolutely do like a Maximum Carnage type TV main event out of it.
Yeah, give it some weeks build and have it on TV. Absolutely.
Sure. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities for MJF without having to go back to Hangman and Swerve, but we never did get a singles match between Swerve and MJF.
No, I could see that. I could see that taking place at Dynasty. I just feel like Dynasty is like Swerve's event,
So that would actually be a fresh match that has not been done. So yeah, that's kind of how I see things playing out because I don't see him dropping the belt until they get to Wembley.
No, and if they're doing Darby, if what you say is correct, and they do Darby and MJF at Revolution, I do think that's a clear positive direction that we may be getting Ospreay back for Wembley, and I think that they do the MJF Ospreay match at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
So, he's got no shortage of opponents, I'll tell you that. And hopefully the main event scene is going to be a lot healthier with MJF at the top than it was. So we'll see what happens there. But he is defending the championship tomorrow night against Bandito. And Darby will wrestle Pac one-on-one. We got Statlander and the Babes of Wrath against the Triangle of Madness, Tekla, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue. And then Kenny Omega is returning tomorrow night. That's all that they have announced. I'm sure Tony Khan will go live on Twitter at some time in the afternoon and lay out the rest of the show 480p via his iPhone 12.
Well, he's always got that cup of coffee in his hand.
That would be one of the questions I ask him, bro. What's in the cup? What type of coffee beverage do you enjoy from one connoisseur to the next?
Do we know that it's coffee?
We don't, actually. I don't know. It could be anything. I don't know.
It could be something else. I don't know.
But that's AEW. I know it's not the hottest promotion in the world, but they got some things going on over there, so we'll keep an eye on that tomorrow night. TNA, they have a show debuting on AMC tomorrow. And I know we looked this up in the
Thursday.
Thursday rather. Sorry, on Thursday. Jason, what is the attendance looking like for this big show on AMC happening on Thursday?
Well, the last check from WrestleTix was that it was a little over 2,000 in a venue that they are currently set up for 3,000. But I mean, it fits a lot more than that. But that's what they're setting up for. So not for TNA standards, I suppose. For Impact, it would be a big crowd, but not the biggest crowd. Now they do have a pay-per-view 2 nights later in the same building. So is that affecting things? I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like this show is being more promoted as a bigger event than Genesis, quite frankly.
Yeah, well, as it should. I mean, it's not a new night, but a new home for them. I haven't really seen many people talk about this. I thought this would be a bigger deal. I thought there'd be a little bit more WWE presence on this show. There is AJ Styles set to appear. But
dude, you're burying the lead. There is a huge celebrity appearance.
Oh man, who is that?
On this show on Thursday, Perez Hilton.
I thought you were going to tell me fucking Johnny Depp or someone going at the Impact.
When I first saw the news item about this, I kind of misread it. I thought it said Paris Hilton.
That would have been a lot better.
It probably would have been better. Still as irrelevant as Perez Hilton is being on this fucking show. And there's going to be people in the chat who are like, who? But yes, Perez Hilton, who I think was a thing 20 years ago, is going to be on the show. He is the celebrity guest on Thursday. I don't know why he's there. I have no idea what he's going to be doing. If he's there to take a Styles clash, then maybe it'll be worth it. But I don't know. When I heard the name, dude, I was floored. I was absolutely floored that this is who they're promoting to be on this big first AMC show on Thursday. Like, who does this appeal to?
I don't know. I'm trying to look up what makes him so relevant in 2026. I find nothing here on Google outside of TNA Wrestling. He's a special guest for the first ever AMC show for TNA. Apparently, he's a social media influencer who actively promotes his work and personal life on Instagram and TikTok.
Who promotes his life?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, okay. So
does he have some sort of big audience that we may not know of? I don't know. How many followers does he have?
See on Instagram how many followers he has.
I'm going to look now. Let's see.
I have not heard this. I have not heard his name mentioned in years.
I thought he was with the E Network or something. One of them things.
I told you he had a blog or a website, and for a while there, he was a known name, and I would hear his name mentioned, and he would break all kinds of like entertainment stories and stuff. But that was like, dude, that was 15, 20 years ago.
Trying to see what social media.
How many followers does he have on Instagram?
600,000 followers.
Okay. What kind of content is being posted on his? Is he promoting? Is there an Impact post on here? There is. No, it's pinned. It's pinned at the top. It's got 180 comments. But I'm just failing. I'm just failing to see some of these posts. By the way, he's got 600. No, he's got 921,000. What are you looking at?
600,000, 600K on Instagram.
No.
I have it pulled up on my phone right here. What are you talking about?
What are you looking at?
PerezHilton.com.
No. Go to the Perez Hilton.
Do I have the wrong site?
I don't know where you are.
Accounts. Oh, the Perez Hilton. I'm looking at something else. Okay. 921 plus 600,000 on another page. He's got well over 1 million subs.
But look at some of these posts, though. Like hover your cursor over them. Like 30 likes, 4 comments, 33 likes, 3 comments, 65 likes. So, like, I don't know how engaged or active people are on the page. He's got a lot of followers, but like how influential this following will be and how it's going to help TNA, I have no idea.
Wow,
I would love to know.
This is actually very sad.
What?
Well, just the total engagement on his Instagram.
That's what I'm saying. The followers looks impressive, but when you see the actual engagement on the post, there really isn't a whole lot going on.
He posted something on Jennifer Lopez that got 1,300 likes on Instagram. So I don't know, 3,000 likes with.
But what does he do? Like, is he reporting stuff still, or it says the original influencer? So I guess he's just freelancing. I guess he's kind of doing his own thing. But I just fail to see how this benefits TNA unless he's going to take a bump and get his ass kicked or something.
I don't know. I don't know who made that decision. I don't know what TNA brass is thinking about. I mean, they could bring it. They can bring in one of their YouTubers and fucking get as much engagement as more engagement than bringing in Perez Hilton.
Well, they just signed. Didn't they just sign BDE?
Yes. Yes.
They
he's
probably
got more
would be better
engagement than
off
Perez
promoting
Hilton.
him.
Yes.
And doing an angle with him. He'd be more relevant. And he can wrestle. He can take bumps.
We got more fucking influence on this show combined than fucking Perez Hilton and fucking in the last 50 posts I see there.
They should have called us. We could have done something here.
I don't know. Some of the decisions that are made here are just unbelievable. Anyway, Perez Hilton's going to be on the show. Nobody gives a shit. The show is looking like this. Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, and Elijah, the former Elias. Took me a little bit to remember who the fuck he was. Mustafa Ali, Jason Hotch, and John Schuyler of Order 4. So 6-man tag team match. The Inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay versus the Elegance brand. So this is M by Elegance and Heather by Elegance for the Knockouts tag team titles. Leon Slater versus Myron Reed versus for the TNA X Division title.
Well, I don't believe that's happening. So I mentioned that on my show on Sunday. I didn't see anybody reporting anything about it, but they did not mention that match on Impact last week at all. There were no mentions of it on their social media. It was almost like they were avoiding saying anything about it. So I said, it sounds to me like the match is off. And then
are there contracts up?
Well, apparently, so that came out today that apparently all the members of the Rascals are free agents now.
Oh, I'd love to see them go back to NXT. They were great down there.
So that includes Myron Reed, and that's probably why they pulled him from the match, because apparently he's not under contract anymore. So I don't even think that match is happening.
So with AJ Styles appearing, are we getting an open challenge, is what you're saying?
I mean, I would love to see it. It may be the only opportunity for them to get him in the ring. Do you think WWE is going to allow them to promote like a fucking AJ Styles match on one of their upcoming pay-per-views and actually promote it? Because if not, you may as well do something here.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't set this forward from the beginning. I mean, you got AJ Styles on this show. You should have promoted the shit out of it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we could be seeing a Leon Slater AJ Styles match for the X Division title. Frankie Kazarian versus Mike Santana for the TNA World Championship. This is the rematch from what happened a month and a half ago, where Mike Santana didn't defend the title once because they went on hiatus for a little bit with their tapings, and then he cashes in his stupid trophy, and Mike Santana never defended the title once, and he loses the championship. So now he's about to get it back, and I guess they did it for this sole reason, to have a big hometown moment here for the guy that they took the New York hometown moment away from, only to do it at Bound for Glory in fucking Lowell, Massachusetts, then to take it off of him on a TV taping in the middle of nowhere, to then put it back on him on AMC.
Well, the wrinkle here is that apparently Nick Nemeth has said he's going to cash in his, or he's going to call his shot when this match is over.
Oh, so there was 2 trophies.
I guess so. or one trophy with 2 shots. I don't know.
What a stupid fucking gimmick. I don't know. That's the show. That's all that's been announced. It is a 2-hour show, so I guess that'll take up the majority of the 2 hours. But I thought it would be a lot better built, more hype around it. I thought there'd be a better card. But we'll see what happens tomorrow night. I'll be watching. Thursday. I keep saying tomorrow. Thursday. We got Dynamite tomorrow. Thursday, I'll be watching, and I may or may not go live, depending on how I feel. But it should be a newsworthy night with AJ being there. So that's TNA, AEW in the rearview mirror. Eric Bischoff said this about TNA and the debut on AMC. He said, it's in WWE's best interest if TNA is successful for a lot of reasons. Now, he went on to weigh his opinion here, weighing in on the TNA discussion with their AMC debut. Bischoff expressed his belief that TNA's success is a priority for WWE leadership under the current regime. He says, I absolutely believe that WWE is going to try to strategically help TNA in any way possible because it's in WWE's best interest if TNA is successful for a lot of reasons. It's in their best interest. He added that it could include a favored nations position for WWE if there were ever a potential sale of the company. Regarding Jericho, Bischoff noted that if Jericho wanted to be savvy about one of his career moves, he says, I'm having fun watching this because it really is kind of entertaining to see Chris's moves behind the scenes and all these teases because they're so subtle and they're so timely. I think Chris wants to be involved in TNA, just maybe kind of check off the box. He'd like to see the hometown guys win, and if he can contribute in any way, he will. So Bischoff envisioned the scenario where Jericho uses TNA as a platform to create demand for a final retirement tour in WWE. So we don't know if that's going to be in the cards for Jericho or not. I'll start there, Jason. Do you see Jericho potentially landing on TNA Thursday night to kind of get himself out in front of a live wrestling audience again, or is that something that should be safe for the Rumble?
I think it should be safe for the Rumble. I mean, if I'm TNA, I'm certainly making an outreach to him. I'm definitely trying to bring him in and not Perez Hilton. But, I mean, Jericho showing up, in front of 2,000 people on the TNA show, and it kind of takes away, I think, from that initial return in the Rumble.
Yeah.
And I have every expectation he'll be in the Rumble. So, yeah, if I'm WWE, I want him saved for the Rumble.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be there to Thursday night. I feel like that would be just a waste of an appearance. It would give TNA a lot of ammunition to pop a great rating on Thursday, but I don't think that's the best usage of Jericho there. It is absolutely in WWE's interest for TNA to succeed because I do believe that with the negotiations of the AMC deal, I do think that WWE was involved in getting them that deal. I do think that they did partner with them to try and use them to take some of the whatever away from AEW because WWE doesn't want to do it themselves because they'll never go and blatantly let you know what their cards are. So they're using TNA as their pawn in their strategy to kind of weaken AEW. The only thing is it's not happening on a Wednesday and it's still very much happening on a Thursday. But, with their new home on AMC, WWE is thinking that hopefully some of that audience comes over to TNA side, which we talked about last week. That's not going to be the case because if you're watching AEW, you're not watching anything WWE related, and TNA is now WWE related because they're in a partnership with WWE. So if you're a sicko, you're a sicko. You're not watching anything else. So I don't know what Eric Bischoff is thinking in regards to that, but TNA will remain as they have been for the last 20 plus years. They'll see a small increase in ratings, and it's not going to be astronomical to a point where they'll be the number 2 promotion. I don't know what all this talk about is from Matt Hardy and all these other veterans out there. TNA is not going to overtake AEW. It's a great thing that they got a new home, and hopefully their creative can really level up. But outside that, Jason, I don't really see TNA making any waves on AMC.
No, I mean, you put together shows like the one they have tomorrow night. I mean, I don't see it generating a lot of excitement. So
no.
The focus needs to be on their own product and their own show and signing their own talent to contracts. I don't know what's been going on lately with these TNA contracts that have come due at the worst possible time, it would seem.
Yeah, they just lost Killer Kelly, by the way, as well.
Killer Kelly and Jake something and the Rascals potentially and maybe even a few other people at a time when they're, moving to AMC. It just, the time does not seem, this doesn't seem like the right time for that to be happening. So I think they need to make sure they have their own house in order and just focus on putting together the most exciting, most interesting show week to week on AMC that they can to make the best impression possible, because this right here, these next several weeks, if they're going to bring in any new fans, and again, it's not going to be from the AEW side, but if they're going to generate any new fans, they have to make a good first impression.
Yeah.
You only get one shot at it. So if you're going to put out a boring show every week and no one's talking about it and it's not generating any real excitement or buzz, you ain't going to be the number 2 anything. So the worst thing they could do right now is have people talking about, we're going to be number 2. We're going to overtake. You're not going to overtake anybody. Just right now, focus on putting out the best possible product that you can, because now you're going to have an audience that you have not had in 11 or 12 years. That should be their focus.
Yeah, we'll see what happens on Thursday. But that is TNA. We got some other news and notes here, and then we'll get to your super chat. I want to talk about this because I didn't mention this publicly on social media because I've honestly made a New Year's resolution to myself to say as little as I can in regards to anything sicko related. because I just can't stand the negativity, and it greatly just kind of affects my mental health because people just can't be civilized. So I didn't say anything about this, but I figured I'd save it for here. Tony Khan was recently interviewed with Adrian Hernandez. He has a podcast or a YouTube show called Unlikely. And Adrian asked Tony Khan about Chris Jericho. Now, when you listen to what Tony expressed as an answer, it really makes you wonder why these people who have Tony Khan on their platform, why they even bother asking these questions. Because the answer that you get is absolutely, completely nothing. And it's just more frustrating than anything. And I genuinely don't understand why everybody just swoons over getting Tony Khan on their show, because he barely answers anything. But this is what he said in regards to Jericho. First of all, I'm really grateful when I talk about people that have been here since the beginning and talk about the first show in Las Vegas. None of that would be possible without Chris Jericho, who's been instrumental in AEW from the very beginning. I love Chris very much, and I would say that Chris is always a big part of AEW, and I think this promotion is here to stay. Chris Jericho is a huge part of our history, and we're really proud of what we've been able to accomplish, and Chris is an instrumental part of it. He went on to say more of what I just read there and kind of cycle back to what he said here about Chris being instrumental in AEW's success. So Jericho was the inaugural AEW World Champion, as we all know, and basically we've discussed that without Jericho, there may not be an AEW. So basically, in oh so many words, instead of saying nothing, or maybe the question not being asked, Jericho and the topic of Jericho here by Tony Khan basically solidified that he's finished with the company. So I don't even know why people, content creators and interviewers, continue to bring Tony on their show and ask him these ridiculous questions and then get nothing as far as a response. So Jericho will be in the Royal Rumble as far as what Tony Khan said. He didn't flat out say it, but that's where he went with that answer. So I don't know. That's Tony Khan there. Rikishi. WWE apparently is firing up something for the Usos at WrestleMania. We don't know what it is. Now, they are the tag team champions, and Matt Hardy said that he would love to see a culmination of the Hardys, the New Day, and the Usos at WrestleMania, a big triple threat match. So this obviously went viral and made waves in the IWC. So Rikishi expressed strong support for this concept, emphasizing the caliber of the talent that would be involved would need a premier placement on the WrestleMania card if it was actually something they were planning on doing. Rikishi, who is the father of both Jimmy and Jey Uso and Solo Sikoa, mind you, says this: they better put them on last. I mean, come on, let's think about it. That is a lot of good talent. You just give them time and let them get out there and do their thing out there. Rikishi specifically highlighted the chemistry between his sons and the New Day, a rivalry that defined the tag team division for much of the previous decade. He described their in-ring work saying this, and I quote, "I feel like, man, one of the best matches for me when I watched the Usos, bar none, what had to be the New Day. Because when all four of those guys work together, man, my goodness, it's like poetry in motion. You never know what you're going to get. You know you're going to get a top five-star match, but you never know like what type of spots going in and coming out will happen, what type of wild moments will be. Bro, they got to go on last. That's got to be the WrestleMania main event of WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas for the tag team titles, according to Rikishi.
Dude, I think you should give them both nights main events. That's what I think. I think you should spread it out. And you know how Jey Uso runs it back with his theme music? They should run it back on night 2, and maybe that would make Rikishi happy.
Ah, man, Rikishi, he just, he finds absolutely...
He's hard to please.
Yes.
He's a hard man to please. Did you see the other comments he made that got play this week about WWE tickets?
I did. He's upset that they can't get family comp tickets anymore.
Well, he's very upset about that, but also he goes, I could probably get them for like, $1,000 a pop, but like that's probably going to be up in the nosebleeds. He goes, it wasn't like this when I was wrestling. And I was like, well, when you were wrestling, and I'm not even talking about like the Attitude Era like Rikishi, I'm talking about like because he worked there for many years before that. You couldn't give tickets away some of those years. Like they were running high school gyms. So it's a little bit different now. To be fair, it is a little bit different now than it was back in his day when he was doing the singles thing in WWE. or even the tag team thing. But he is not wrong when it comes to ticket prices. And everyone's been talking about this for over a year now. So, I mean, this is not like a new thing, but it is the first time I think that somebody who, and obviously he's got a lot of family who works there, has been so vocal about it. Because when it affects them, obviously they get very upset about it. And so they talk about it. They comment on it. So he's not wrong about that. But I just kind of laugh where it's like, it wasn't like this when I was wrestling. I'm like, yes, but the demand wasn't there in the way that it is today for the mid-90s WWF.
You want to play your violin tune for Rikishi?
I could, yeah. He's talking about a time where you had like Abe Knuckleball Schwartz, and you had the Goon.
The Goon. Fucking Barry Horowitz.
This is for Rikishi.
For Rikishi, man. The smallest violin for Rikishi. He can't get comp tickets anymore. Poor guy.
It's a sad day. It's a sad day when Rikishi can't get free tickets anymore.
I mean, if Jey Uso's not main eventing WrestleMania and he's not getting free comp tickets, what is Rikishi offering on his platform? What do people listen to Rikishi for, if not complaining about his sons and their placement on the card? I don't know. So that's Rikishi. I don't know. We'll end with this before we get to the Super Chats. My good old friend Bruce Prichard, he revealed the real reason why WWE cut down on PLE matches. I'd love for you to tell me, Bruce, because nobody really understands it, and everybody seems to be complaining about it, but you don't do anything to fix it. He recently offered insight as to why WWE has transitioned to smaller match cards for its PLEs. Over the years, the company has cut down on a number of matches, typically filling out a card with 5 matches compared to the stacked lineups of the past. Speaking on the latest episode of Something to Wrestle, Prichard gave insight as to why less is now considered more in the streaming era. He says, and I quote, I go back in time, 10 matches on a card is hard to watch. When you look at the presentation and you put so many things in a 10-match card at the end of the night, what do you remember? You're most likely going to remember the main event, but there may have been an angle in the third match and a hell of a match, but you have forgotten because you've seen so much other shit, good, bad, or indifferent. I think less is more. He went on to note that the shift from traditional pay-per-view to streaming platforms like Netflix has fundamentally changed the business model. The PLE streaming aspect of the business has changed that completely, he explained, and says, talent is not paid on pay-per-view buys. There is no time allotment. They don't really want more than 3 hours. It's a different time and a different way people consume. I need my WrestleMania moment. You have a moment next month in the main event. I want to be on WrestleMania. Where? It's going to get lost here, and we're doing this over here. Television is just as valuable as the PLEs with rights fees. To be on television to a huge number of people versus PLEs, that has changed. Every time you're on screen is valuable. Currently, WWE produces 6 hours of main roster television weekly, with Raw running 2.5 hours and SmackDown now getting 3 hours, at least for the first half of 2026. You know what he very much missed the mark on here, Jason, is the fact that when you have 5 matches on these PLEs and there's nothing but fucking advertisements for 15 minutes between every match, and the fans that are sitting in the buildings are paying quadruple the amount that they were paying only 3 years ago to sit for a 5-match PLE where more than likely nothing fucking happens, and we're left disappointed asking, what did I spend my money on? People want more for the money that they're spending, and they're not getting it. But here he's justifying the fact that less is more. Nobody's asking for 10 matches on a pay-per-view. Nobody's asking for 5 matches on a PLE either. We want either 6 or 7 with some story that matters, that gives us some sort of financial investment in what we're buying. And we're not getting it.
Yeah, I love how he goes to the extreme. 10 matches. Who's asking for 10 matches? Like, it's so disingenuous. Like, it doesn't have to be even an exact number, but like you said, 6 matches, 7 matches, like that's reasonable. That's the way the pay-per-views used to be done. I never used to think WWE overloaded their shows, in the way that AEW does with its pay-per-views.
When was the last time Vince did a 10-match PLE outside of a WrestleMania that went 7 hours?
Well, I mean, outside of a WrestleMania, I don't know that he ever did. I shouldn't say ever, but like it was a rare thing. It usually was just a WrestleMania thing. And we know how overloaded those WrestleManias were. I will say, when it was one night and it got to a point where they had so many matches, the shows would go 6-7 hours. I was at a lot of those shows, and they were it was terrible to sit through.
So basically monthly AEW pay-per-views.
Basically, yes. Except I remember being at 33 in Orlando. And I got there for the pre-show. So it's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And the sun is beating down. We're at Camping World Stadium. And I'm sitting there, dude. And outside of maybe getting a snack at one point and coming right back to my seat, I sat there the whole time. The Undertaker wrestled Roman in that awful main event. And thought maybe it was going to be his last match. So remember after the match, he took his hat off. He took his jacket off. Dude, it was like 12:15 in the morning. So I sat there from 5 o'clock to 12:15, most of that time in the Florida sun. That's my own fault. So you should have seen what I looked like when that fucking show was over. A raisin in the sun. But yeah, so we're not talking about the extremes here. He's being very disingenuous when he says this. But what else do you expect? You know, he worked for WWE. He worked for TKO. He's part of the brain trust and the hierarchy there. I'm not saying he's the one making those types of decisions, but he's not going to speak ill of his masters, right? They're all part of the same group there. And so, of course, he's not going to speak out of turn. He's going to have all kinds of excuses for it. But no, as a viewing experience, there may be look, they've done some 5-match PLEs that have been really great PLEs. But it's about getting the most bang for your buck. But this is a company that's all about moments. It's all about, we make movies and cinema and moments and long entrances. But then you factor in the commercial breaks in between the segments and everything. And yeah, you're getting more of that on these supposedly premium live events than ever before in the history of that company. There is no justification for it. It's okay if you sneak in an extra match or two every now and then. Maybe it's not every month. But this like, oh, we can't have 10 matches. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. No one's asking for 10 matches. And when he says stuff like that, he's being disingenuous. I don't see people asking for that. They're just asking for a little bit more steak instead of sizzle when it comes to some of these shows.
Well, maybe he wasn't there present in Atlanta when they did Evolution on July 13th, because that was a 7-match show and it flowed better than any show that WWE put on all year. So why can't they do more like that? I don't understand what the fuck.
And I would wager that if you were to poll a lot of fans, they would probably say that was one of, if not their favorite PLE of the year.
So I would love for you to explain that one, Bruce. But please tell me that WWE fans want 10 matches. Nobody's asking for 10 matches. We just want a little bit more.
There's another clip floating around from one of the episodes where I guess he was talking about Vince or was asked about Vince, and he said Vince was always 10 years ahead.
10 years ahead of what? Everybody else in age that worked on that writing team?
Just ahead of the curve on everything.
Sure.
Now, on the network, I'll give him credit for that. But no, he was always thinking ahead. Like Vince, he was always thinking ahead. Like he was always 5 steps ahead. He was always thinking 5-10 years ahead of the curve.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he was really talking him up there.
Yeah, that's why 2019 into 2020 was absolutely fucking deplorable television. He was 10 years ahead of the curve. Great.
Yeah, he was thinking ahead to his next escapade there.
Yes,
allegedly.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Anyway, that's all we got for you. Wrapping up episode 129 here. We're going to get into your super chats. Thank you guys very much for some great discussion tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And we are going to get into your super chats and start off here with Michael Krause with a $2 super chat. JD, Jason, OTS, let me talk to you. TNT, let's go. Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Summer History 7725 with a $10 super chat. Hey JD, I was wondering if you have seen any Stranger Things episodes yet, and if you have, what are your thoughts on the show so far? Also, who's your favorite Impractical Joker? Joe was my favorite Impractical Joker, but he's not there anymore because he went through a divorce, and I guess he didn't want to be on the show anymore. I do think that eventually they'll bring him back. It'll be a big ratings pop if they do. Yes, I did watch Stranger Things that, like we talked about in the beginning of the show. I did watch all of season 1. Very intrigued. And I'm very excited to jump into season 2. Chris Wolf with the new membership. Thank you, brother. Actually, that's not right. I don't know why YouTube does that. Apparently, he's got the highest tiered membership emoji next to his name. So he's not a new membership. But thank you for the recommitment, Chris. Appreciate you. Boss Mo Jax with a $4.99. If you could build the perfect wrestler, what would that look like? 2 thumbs up for the stoic Solomonster. Brother, my brother JD. Oh, my brother, testify. The perfect pro wrestler? You probably look at someone like a Drew McIntyre or a Randy Orton. Jake Something's up there, too. He's got a great look.
The Yeah, I mean the perfect wrestler already existed in different forms, but
Yes.
he already existed. His name was the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
There you go.
He was he had all the attributes that you would look for, and I would also throw Kurt Angle's name out there.
Yeah.
I think when you're talking about like the complete and total package when it comes to a pro wrestler, those are the two guys I think of.
Michelle with a 2. How do you see them shifting Cody's character in the most uneventful way possible that barely signifies any change at all? What do you think is going to happen with Cody, Jason? He's going to go a little darker, a little bit more violent.
He's gonna make his hair a little bit darker, maybe.
If he goes heel, I would love to see that. Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna see a terribly radical change in the way he carries himself. At least not yet.
Ali with a 2. JD, what was your first gaming console growing up? Atari. And then I shifted over to the original Nintendo. And then from there, it just grew to every other Nintendo system that came out thereafter.
Yeah, there were 2 different Ataris that I had. I want to say one was like the 5700, and then I forgot what the other one was. So I might have been the 2600 maybe, and then the 5700, whatever the numbers were. And then I remember with the original Nintendo, did you get the gamepad? The hurdles, the jogging?
No, I don't remember that. I might have been too young to remember that, but I know
Okay.
I had the robot though.
Because there was 3 games in one, and that was one of them. And then of course Duck Hunt, so I had
Yes.
the gun.
Yes.
And so yeah, those were the days, man.
Yeah, my dad had the robot. I don't know what happened when they sold the house, but the robot is no longer. So I don't know why they didn't keep something like that. It's probably worth a fucking goddamn fortune now. That robot.
You ever get the Power Glove?
I did have the Power Glove. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
See, I never had that.
I don't remember
was
what I
cool.
did with the Power Glove, but I did have it. Ali with a 2. Also, the song Postmortal Simulation is a banger. Yeah, shout out to my guys in Condition Critical. Great New Jersey thrash band, local. Love them. Sidro with a 5. Dr. Ronald Peak and Ishmael Abu donated money to their hospital to build a new intensive care unit. It's called Peak Abu ICU. Thank you, Sidra. It did not pop the monster, but good first attempt. Aaron with a $4.99. Do you think all 3 women in the Judgment Day will win a world title by the end of the year? Liv, yes. The other 2, no. What do you think? Liv, world champion this year?
I all of them no. I had Roxanne as my pick to win Money in the Bank, though.
There you go. I like it. Baltimore Jackson with $1.99. I believe 2026 will be an excellent year for movies. Well, I don't know. I don't really know what's coming out this summer. What's the big blockbuster that's coming out this year?
I don't know about the summer, but again, we have the Street Fighter movie, and we have that Mortal Kombat movie. But as far as I don't know, is there any kind of major Marvel movie that's supposed to be coming out, or Avengers movie or something? We have Scream 7. We mentioned that.
I don't know, but I know Peter McKellen is reliving his role as Gandalf in the next adaptation of Lord of the Rings, filming in 2027. That's what I'm excited about. I love that. Baltimore Jackson, the $1.99. Thank you, brother. We have Drew Gilmore. What's up, buddy? 41 months. 2026 is going to be a great year for you and OTS, and I hope to finally make my career change. P.S. Rest in peace, Bullet Club. Yeah, apparently they're no more. What are they now? What's their name? Unbound?
Well, it's not really Bullet Club, but Unbound Company. I said it sounds like a brand of jeans that you would buy in a store. So
Yes, it does.
Bullet Club, for all intents and purposes, Bullet Club is dead.
Goodbye. They lasted as long as they did. That's a testament to the longevity of the group. Sidro with a 5. Internship at crematorium. There's no salary, but if you earn your keep, you keep your earn. And what did Michael Jackson like to drink? Tee-hee. Lavelle with a $4.99. Oh, no, what was this? Love Lee with a $4.99. Sorry. JD, can we get more music reviews? I loved your Alter Bridge album review. Solo, what is your favorite Alter Bridge song? I got to show Solo the new album. He might radically change his mind if I show him the new album. Don't tell me Metalingus, bro. Come on.
I was, you know what? Just let me check real quick. I got like 600 songs in my playlist. Let me see if there's one other than Metalingus that comes up here for Alter Bridge. So I feel like I had a couple, but off the top of my head,
I'd be shocked if Blackbird's on his list of Spotify songs.
No, I know that's yours. Blackbird is not on my list. But let's see. Alter Bridge. Oh, well, The Other Side.
All right, listen, that's a banger song. I gotta admit,
it's a good song.
You can't hate on that one. That's a great song. It's one of their heaviest songs, actually. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I would do music reviews, but I have a very niche takes in music, so nobody's gonna like. Not everybody likes my music, so like, who the fuck cares if I like a metal band or not? But Alter Bridge is my favorite, and they put out a incredible album this past Friday. So if you guys have not heard it, please. And song recommendation, I love Slave to Master. It's their 9-minute epic on the album, closing the album. One of the best songs that they've ever written. Gavin with a $5 super chat. About the NXT reset, didn't Vince want NXT Rainbow to have talent to either main roster call after 6 months or they get future endeavored? There was a story that there would be a process and like a review if you're not up to speed with what WWE wants, that they would not hesitate actually to release you. So I don't know if that's still instituted or not, but you know, they got a lot of different avenues. They got the Performance Center, they got Evolve now, they got NXT proper. So David Rice with a 20. I'm really hoping to see Javon Evans versus Dirty Dom at WrestleMania for the IC title. Oba is going to be special. Keep him from Gunther until they are ready for the big time match. I'm also hoping for Lucha Brothers versus the Usos at WrestleMania. Javon Evans in the IC title, Jason, a little bit too soon at WrestleMania?
I wouldn't say too soon. I just feel like there might be more of a story there with Dom and Balor.
Yeah. Yeah, Oba, keep him special. We agree. The Lucha Brothers and Usos, I know we talked about it the last couple of weeks. I'd love to see it, but it's all on WWE to actually get the Lucha Brothers on the same show. They're operating on different shows right now. Who do we got? Ash with a 5. Been rocking with the Stoic Monster since the TV track days.
That's right.
Being stoic is not an insult, by the way. You guys do a great job with this show every week. Appreciate that, Ash. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ash.
True Crime Unleashed with a 5. WWE's planning strapping the Jey Uso rocket to the back of Jacob Fatu, and Seth Rollins was spotted at the PC training. Was he? Where did you hear that? But yeah, the report is Jacob Fatu is going to be treated like a megastar this year. But again, I'll reserve judgment until I actually see it happen, because after the Finn Balor story, we're still waiting on that one. Michelle with a 2. Do you think we will ever get Punk versus Roman? It's a big possibility. We could get it this year if Roman wins the Rumble. Him in Saudi, I could see him winning the Rumble. Street Fighter with a 10. Classic Triple H booking. Heels gotta look strong, and the baby faces gotta look stupid. Cody, AJ, Stephanie, it makes no sense to me. Heels can go over without making the faces look stupid. It is a common thing that we see a lot of baby faces be stupid or act stupid, Jason, isn't it? It's more than common.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that are made to look stupid on these shows. No one more so than the referees and the security people. I mean, they have everybody else be. That goes for both companies, by the way. But yeah, there's a lot of baby faces that will just do dumb shit. And I understand, like in wrestling, there's just certain times you have to, turn your brain off, and there's a specific angle or whatever, it has to be done a certain way. But I feel like more often than not, they put these guys in positions where they just really look dumb. So I wish they wouldn't do that, but they would argue it by going, that's wrestling.
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
It doesn't have to look stupid. Just make sense of it.
Yeah.
Bro Mobile with a $5 super chat. Could they do a Cody heel turn and do a Jacob versus Cody match at WrestleMania and then do McIntyre versus Femi, who wins the Rumble? Probably too much going on there, though. Sure.
Well, I mean, we talked about McIntyre and Femi. I threw it out there. It's kind of unlikely, but you want to really rocket this guy to the top and also shake up that main event scene at WrestleMania this year. That'd be the way to do it. And as far as Cody and Jacob, I'd be fine with that. It would, I guess, what he's implying then is that Cody would be revealed as the attacker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which would theoretically maybe turn him heel. I don't know. He was getting booed in Germany, though. A lot of Cody references and a lot of boos that followed. So I don't know. The fans in Germany don't really take to Cody too much.
Well, I mean, McIntyre is
Scottish. Yeah.
International flavor there. So I imagine that had something to do with it.
David Rice with a $4.99. I think it's possible to do a heel Cody versus Punk match, or the match is a conduit to Cody turning heel. Again, that's my number one match. I know we're not going to get, but I think that's the biggest match you could possibly do this year. Maybe they're saving it for something else. I don't know. Cake with a $2 super chat. First time ever Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. No. No, I will legitimately. I will rip my hair out live on stream if that actually happens. Bobby Means with a $5 super chat. Both Rumbles are shaping up to be pretty good. The men's side is looking strong, but the women's side is looking very interesting. Listen, there's a lot of star power on that women's Rumble, too. There's no shortage of star power. Tiffany Stratton coming back. Bianca Belair coming back. Jordan Grace. Sol Ruka. Zaria. So, I mean, WWE has relied less on the surprises in the women's Rumble because they got so much talent in the women's division. But it's going to be... I'm looking forward to the Rumble this year.
They get those bodysuits ready.
Yep. Riley with a $4.99. I'll be honest, 4 weeks in, and I already got Theory, and I forgot Theory was already in the vision. Yeah.
I said put the mask back on. It'll be more relevant.
Yep. Ray Reezy with a $19.99. Thank you, Ray. What are 3 matches you guys would want to relive and watch again for the first time?
Oh, I can tell you one of them.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker.
Yep.
WrestleMania 25.
Yep.
Rock Hogan.
Yep. WrestleMania
18.
Yep.
And to relive for the first time again.
I'm going to say Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole take over New York.
Okay. Yeah, not that one. Got to be something more epic. Well, I mean, it depends. Like, if I were back in my younger frame of mind when I first watched it, a newer fan may not be able to understand this, but Hogan and Warrior was a big fucking deal.
There was. No, I don't think anybody that's younger in this generation realizes how big of a deal that was.
No, it was a big deal, especially 2 baby faces, champion against champion like that. Like that was a big deal. So maybe that one, but those first 2 for sure. Those like that was easy.
Yeah. Yurka with a $10 super chat. No message. Yurka always comes in, orders a drink, and then leaves. Thank you, Yurka. Caden with a $1.99. Since 1990, WWE has only had 13 submission matches. Really? I didn't know that. That's quite the stat. Genuinely curious if they actually do that match with Gunther and AJ being a submission match, if they use that statistic. Alex with a $10 super chat. Brother JD and Solo, forgive me, but buy, rent, sell on your favorite Great Khali matches. Oh, God. Versus Taker at Judgment Day 06. Versus Cena at One Night Stand 07. And versus Kane and Batista at the Great American Bash 07.
Oh, that sounds so bad.
Every fucking one of these is awful, bro. Can I sell on all of them?
Progressively worse. Yeah, I'm not buying on any of them. I can't bring my. You can't make me do it. I'm not
spending a fucking dime on Great Khali matches, bro.
You have to pay me to watch those.
Should be used as a form of torture for somebody, really, to go watch those matches. Oh man, thank you, Alex. Toya with a $5 super chat. Hey JD and Solo, I just book Hey JD and Solo. You guys have a 3 stages of hell match against each other. What are the stages? Ooh. What are the stages for our 3 stages of hell match?
Well, as all 3 stages of hell matches, we have to start out with a straight wrestling match.
Okay.
Mandatory. You have to start with that. And then I think we would do Falls Count Anywhere. And I think what we would do is we would leave the building and we would go across the street. There's like a bar across the street. And in the middle of the match, we're going to hit the bar and we're going to probably just share a drink, right? You'll have your old fashioned. I'll have my Jack and Coke. We'll drink. And then as soon as we're done drinking, we'll just start beating the hell out of each other in the bar.
A barroom brawl like Sheamus and Jeff Hardy during the fucking pandemic?
Yes, that'll be the second stage. And so then when we're sufficiently, liquored up and we're feeling pretty good, we'll get back into the building and we'll end it with a ladder match. The only thing is, like, what do we suspend above the ring to grab?
Maybe a YouTube plaque or something. I don't know.
Play button?
Play button.
JD's play button.
I'll take the OTS title that I have in my room here. I just hang it up on the fucking the rung above the ladder. Tony Brown with a $10 super chat. JD Jason, I've been a wrestling fan for years, guaranteed. Before you were born, let's put it this way. I saw the original Nature Boy Buddy Rogers live. I always feel a little smarter watching you guys. Well, thank you, Tony Brown. We're happy to have you.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. It reminds me of an old Jerry Lawler joke. You're so old that you have an autographed copy of the Bible.
Yes. Yes. I don't know if Tony Brown is that old, but he's quite the veteran here in the chat.
I'm just saying, it made me think of that for some reason. So
mid-range in the chat says, JD will use the hypodermic needle on Solo. Yes. Yes, he's so against that spot. We'll use it on Solo in the 3-stage film match.
You ain't get that thing within fucking 10 feet of me.
Oh man.
I'll give you the John Cena tap and then I'll fucking run the other way. You ain't coming near me with that needle.
That's a good one, Cake. We could hang the hologram mask above the ring.
And then as JD reaches up for the hologram mask, I'm gonna pull out my staple gun and I'm gonna staple him right in the fucking nuts, and then he's gonna fall off the ladder and I pull the mask down.
Bays Beers with it too. Bring back Carlito. To where? Where would you like to see Carlito being brought back?
Well, they're going to be back in Puerto Rico supposedly in May.
Yes, and he'll get a great pop and then fucking get signed all over again to sit in catering. Walker Stubbs with a $4.99. Question for both of you: who would you put in the main event of WrestleMania? Again, I would do Punk and Cody. That's what I would do.
You do Drew and Roman.
Listen, I mean, that should have been the match last year. I could see them doing that. I don't know if it's going to be big enough for what WWE wants, but I could see it happening for sure.
Drew finally gets that win.
Yeah. Base Bears with a 2. Did you guys like The Office? I never watched it.
Yeah, no, never. Even the British version, like the original version, I just never. I can't say I don't like. It's not like I don't like it. I just never watched it.
Jay Everington with a $5 super chat. Gunther will eventually retire. Styles, Lesnar, Jericho, and finally the legend killer himself, Randy Orton, all after retiring Cena and Goldberg. Bro, you're gonna have. Yeah, I mean that's quite a ways away though. I mean, I don't know how that realistically works when Randy Orton has he's in the first year of a 5-year contract.
I mean, but I'm just saying, like, you're gonna retire all of these big names the exact same way. Like, that's fucking boring, dude.
I know. Tony Brown with a $2 super chat. Just so you know, Jada Parker, aka Miss Parker, got that ASS. Thank you, Tony. She is a lovely lady. One of my favorites down there. Omar with a $4.99. What do you call an Indian dating app? Connect the dots. Why can't Chinese people play baseball? Because they ate the bat. Leave it to Sidro, Omar. Leave it to Sidro. Gangrene David with a 5. Going to my second WrestleMania in Vegas this year. How were your experiences in the past? The only time I've been to Vegas was one recreational many, many years ago, and I was in Vegas for the first Double or Nothing, and this guy was there.
Yeah. No, I've been to Vegas twice. Once was non-wrestling related, and the other one and that was much more fun. And the last time would have been 2019 for the first Double or Nothing. I was third row ringside.
There you go.
The bloodbath with Cody and Dustin.
Yep.
And that was the night John Moxley debuted.
Yep, we were there. And Jacy and I did the review from the hotel room, so it was quite the experience. Base Beers for the 2. What do we get first? WWE on ice or in 3D? 3D? Is that a current technology that people are interested in? 3D?
Probably a WWE in like IMAX or something.
Yeah. I would love to go see that. What do they call that thing? They have it in what is it?
The Sphere?
Yeah, no, not the Sphere. It's like whatever they do in Dallas and in LA.
With the C. It starts with a C.
Yeah, the something.
Comet, Kazume or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's like a whole 3 like surround sound. You physically feel like you're there, but you're not there. I would love to experience that. It looks cool. Base Beers for the 2. You guys played Dance Dance Revolution, Disco Fever. No, I've only seen it played in the arcade, and I never really been compelled to play it. I don't know if Jason's much of a dancer, but
no
Dance Dance Revolution.
No.
Also with thank you, Base Bears, with the 2 and a 2. Sean M with a 5. JD, did you ever get up and ever end up getting the Switch 2? And do you play it often? Honestly, bro, I got it, and I dabble in Mario Kart here and there, but the last version of Mario Kart was far superior, and I just bought the new Metroid Prime 4. Haven't played it yet. Clone Force with a $4.99. Prayers to tantalizing Tony on recovery from the car accident. You guys should do a round table with Tony, Ross, Jacy, and JD solo all together. Yeah, someone told me in the chat last night that tantalizing Tony was in a car accident. I haven't reached out to him, but
he was. He's I think he has a concussion, but otherwise was spared, and he's on the mend. So
Good.
All the best to Tony.
Good. Thoughts and prayers to Tony and his family.
Good people.
Furious Nation with a $4.99. What's up, JD Solo? Banger TNT tonight. Drew being WWE champion definitely creates some unpredictability, like you said, JD, and I'm all here for it. Yeah. Yeah, we both are. The Cosm. That's what it was called. Yes, the Cosm. I agree, Furious. I think Drew being the champion right now, even if it's abbreviated, it makes a lot of sense. Gangrene David with a 5. Blackbird has also become my favorite Alterbird song also, by the way. It's one of the best songs ever written. It's their top, and it will never be topped by them. But they did come close. They did come close. There's a 3-minute guitar solo between Tremonti and Miles Kennedy on the last song on the new album. Lavelle with a 5. Who do you guys think will be surprises in any of the Women's Royal Rumble? If any, in the Women's Royal Rumble. Any chance we'll get Paige returning home? Honestly, I don't know what you think, bro. I could see Paige returning. I do think that she'll eventually be back. I could see her being a surprise in the Women's Rumble.
Yeah, I'm not expecting it this year. In terms of like surprises, I don't know. I don't know if you think they would fly someone like Trish or whatever to Saudi to be a surprise in the Rumble?
No, I mean, knowing that they probably want as much star power as they can for that show, being that they're paying for it to be there, I could see them do that. But I mean, to us, it's not really a surprise anymore.
Who's the Knockouts champion in TNA right now? It's Xia Li, right? The former
really? Okay.
Ling Ling. Yeah. So maybe her. Maybe she's because we've had the TNA X Division or X Division, the Knockouts champion in the past. We've had Jordan Grace, we've had Mickie James. I could see the Knockouts champion today, being a surprise in the Rumble.
Yeah, I could see that. And she's also an ex-WWE superstar, so I could see that definitely being the case. Furious Nation with a $4.99. I can't believe 20 years ago today on SmackDown in 2006, Kurt Angle won that Battle Royal and won the World Heavyweight title. Man, 2006 Angle was another level. Nobody will ever, there'll never be another Kurt Angle, ever. They can try, but you can never do what he did. He was fucking unbelievable. Marshall with a $9.99. Can someone please tell Matt Cardona he ain't winning the WWE Championship? Laughing emoji. And why is mediocre Maxine Dupree even getting a rematch for the IC title? She is ass. Well, let's be fair. She's gotten a lot better than what we were seeing last year at the beginning of the year. But if you guys remember, Becky cheated. She held the rope. So Adam Pearce is giving her a rematch. Do we want to see it? No, but Becky cheated. It's all biding time until we get AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. That's all they're doing. Furious Nation with the 499. Thoughts of Breaker winning the Rumble and Jacob Fatu winning the Chamber? Any thoughts of the Royal Rumble 2020 by Lincoln Park? I didn't really think of Jacob and Breaker. I think they'll probably go with the story, right, Jason? I mean, that's something that's in their rearview mirror for sure, but not right now.
No, he's talking about the two of them getting the shine by having one win the Rumble to get a title match, and then Jacob winning the Chamber, I guess, to get another title match. So, like, the two of them would be in prime matches at WrestleMania, not against each other.
Eventually, that will happen against each other, but it's not going to happen anytime. So I could see that. I mean, more likely it would be Braun Breaker winning the Rumble. I could see that happening more so than Jacob Fatu winning the Chamber. Any thoughts on the Lincoln Park theme? I heard it was the theme. I didn't really hear what the theme was. I wasn't a big fan of Lincoln Park's music, so it's not going to register to me either way. But,
you weren't a fan of that Hybrid Theory album?
Bro, I honestly, I could not tell you one Linkin Park song. I'm being dead honest.
That's disgraceful. That's just absolutely disgraceful.
Listen, man, I got my tastes. My tastes didn't bleed over into Linkin Park. I don't know. I know. It's a very sentimental band to a lot of people. I would never say anything, but not for me. Base Beers with a $2 super chat. It's Riyadh season with 2 camel emojis. Yes. I can't wait for it to be over. Crazy Men with a $5 super chat. Oba versus Drew, WWE title. Braun versus Punk, World's Heavyweight title. Both Oba and Braun win. Heel Cody versus Randy. Roman versus Jacob for Tribal Chief. I wish WWE kept Andrade and put him in the Vision. We talked about Oba Drew. The only match I could see happening there is Braun Punk or possibly Cody versus Randy. That's about it. Roman and Jacob will eventually happen. I don't think it's going to happen at Mania. Duff's Vids. $4.99. Joke for JD that got solo. What do you call 4 Latinos in quicksand? Cuatro Cinco. Got it.
How did it not get you?
I don't know. It didn't get me. I don't know.
It got me. It didn't get you.
No, Cuatro Cinco. Sorry, Duffs. I don't know. We've had that happen reverse way where Sidro said something to me and then he told it to Jason and it usually worked. But that one didn't get me. I don't know why. Thank you. Furious Nation with a $19.99. Also, JD, this may sound nuts, but it's true. The owner of ACW is one half of the ACW Tag Team Champions, Hale Collins. Known him for 15 years. Nice dude. I could reach out to him if you like, since you've tried reaching out. I did not know that. They're putting on a good product over there. I'm hearing a lot of good things about him. Base Bears for the $2 super chat. You guys are like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. That's quite the comparison.
Well, I hope I'm the Matt Damon in that equation. Got the blonde hair. Actually, again, it's disgraceful that you have no Linkin Park knowledge whatsoever. But I guess JD is probably more of a Stone Temple Pilots guy. I
did not like them either. No Stone Temple Pilots, no Audio Slave, no Rage Against the Machine, no Linkin Park, no
Smashing Pumpkins,
no Smashing Pumpkins at all. No Nirvana, none of that, bro.
Korn.
I loved Korn in high school. I loved Korn. I don't listen to Korn now, but they're
Long Way.
No, I don't need Korn the long way. No.
It's the way that Cody made McIntyre read that banana during the second stage of Hell.
Very weird. He used, of all the things he grabbed off the table, he grabbed the fucking banana instead of using it as a weapon. Duffs with a $4.99. What's the best present you can receive? Broken drums. You can't beat them. Oh my. Omar with 499. The silence was more funnier than the fucking joke. Omar with 499. Hey, Solo, what would you like Cody to take off the catering table and put in your mouth? Maybe a banana.
Not a banana. I tell you that. I'll take a strawberry, but not a banana.
Oh man, I don't even know what else was on the table of all things.
They had, I think, apple. I think they had some apples on there. I don't even know why he was there.
That would have been a better weapon than the banana.
I don't even know. Yeah, no, but he was trying to shove the banana down his throat. They didn't hit him with it. He tried the long way. He tried to shove it down his throat.
Yes, he did. Omar, thank you, brother. And Raz24 rocks, 24 rocks, with a $5 super chat. JD Jason, do you guys think we might see the WWE debut of Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, in the Rumble?
No, I don't think she's available.
No.
She's still under contract.
Unless Tony did something that went under our radar and he released her. I don't know. I don't think so. I think she's contractually binded until he can no longer give a shit, which is hopefully soon. But thank you guys very much for what was a great discussion here on episode 129. Thank you guys, as always, for the support on this show. It means a lot to us. We got a couple of cool things coming up. I was talking to Jason about some new merch possibly coming out soon for this show in particular. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. And as we get into the Rumble, hopefully things heat up and the discussion only gets better. So if you guys want to follow us on social media, at JD from NY206, at Solid Monster, go check the description. Everything you need is down there. Duffs comes in with a $4.99. Why can't a dog go to therapy? He's not allowed on the couch. Yes. Thank you, Duffs, with the $4.99. Everything you need is linked down in the description. And please go and leave a thumbs up. We would greatly appreciate it. It looks like we have maybe hit the goal. Yes, we did hit the goal of 800. Thank you guys very much for that. All right, brother. Sound us off for another great Tuesday night.
I want to stay on this, though. Alice in Chains?
I love Alice in Chains.
Okay.
Yeah. This guy's going to now come up with bands to see if I listen to them or not.
Creed?
Bro, come on now. Now, Creed, I hated Creed. Even though Alter Bridge is 3/4 of Creed, I can't stand it.
You hated With Arms Wide Open?
No, I didn't. Not my type of music, bro.
Godsmack?
I love Godsmack, yes. I remember where I bought Godsmack's debut album out of Tower Records on Central Avenue in Yonkers.
Seether?
No.
Puddle of Mud?
No.
Man. Breaking Benjamin?
Absolutely no.
Man, you got a very particular taste.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I got one more. Stained.
You know, their first album, yes. After that, it gets hazy.
All right.
Yeah.
There was a very random item in the Observer that I'm sure was overlooked by most people this week, but I did notice that it was on Santos Escobar, and my mind was blown when I read this because Santos Escobar has not been seen in months, even though supposedly he was re-signed by WWE. And according to Meltzer, the hope is that they are going to get things back on track after it fell through the cracks. Now, mind you, he was re-signed to a bigger deal. Somehow, it fell through the cracks. Now, what the hell does that mean?
It means they didn't want him to go. They didn't want him to go to AEW, so they gave him money to shut up and keep him in catering. That's what that means.
But he was that important that they would, for that reason alone, that they would pay him more money and re-sign him just to do nothing with him.
Yes, I don't understand it. He's got the coziest contract in recent memory. He does nothing and gets paid to do it.
Well,
that's unbelievable.
Evidently, it fell through the cracks, and they're going to try to get the train back on the track.
You know what that means? He'll be in the Rumble. He'll be eliminated in 3 minutes. That's
he'll be dumped out. We won't see him again for 6 months. Not a bad way to earn a paycheck.
No. All you got to do is make the trek over there for 17 hours on a plane, but who gives a shit? Thank you guys very much for your support here on Tuesday night. We'll be back next week, as always, with episode 130. And we'll talk about your favorite thing, which is pro wrestling, right here on Tuesday Night Titans. Please hit that thumbs up. Please leave a comment down below. And please go and follow Jason on social media and YouTube. And you guys know where to find me. We'll be live tomorrow night for Dynamite. And then TNA has their debut on AMC. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next week right here on Tuesday Night Titans.